What is going on, everybody? It is episode 643 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here once again with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. As I said yesterday, I'm a bit under the weather, but I'm going to be pushing through today. And send me Superchats. It'll make me feel better. Also, as you already know, we have a special guest on the show today because it's a Friday. Hello, Morgan.
Hello, everybody. Super happy to be here, Brett and Mary. Thanks for having me on.
And it is Morgan.
It is Morgan and not Morgonn, for anyone who is confused.
Which it's okay. Everyone calls me Morgonn, but it is just Morgan. I'm one of the Turning Point USA contributors, and super happy to be here and discuss all things pop culture.
Yes. We got a bunch of stuff to get into today, but we're very happy to have you. Are you going to be doing IRL tonight as well?
I will be on IRL tonight, so tune in.
Yes.
Later today.
Okay, good. Yeah, don't go look for that now. Stay here.
Stay here.
We got a bunch of stuff to get into today, but before we get started, would you hit the like button on this video, please, and subscribe to this channel. If you have not subscribed here yet already, please and thank you. Share the video with your friends, family, loved ones, people you like, people you don't like, people you're ambivalent about. The more people that see it, the more people will hopefully share it with their friends, loved ones, etc., etc. It really is the best way to help this show grow, so thank you very much for that. And remember that all Super Chats, $20 and over, we will interrupt the discussion. We will read those Super Chats right then and there, and then we will do our best to get back on topic. So what are we going to be getting into today? Well, first things first, it's what we would call light work today. There wasn't, right? Like, actually, that's kind of funny, given the first topic's about Ozempic. Light work, huh? Supposed Ozempic parties in Hollywood. Look, imagine
It's like spirit cooking.
Imagine you're a
Ozempic.
type 2 diabetic and you're going to the pharmacy and they're like, sorry, we're out. And then you find out it's because Mindy Kaling and all her celebrity friends are throwing weird Ozempic parties where they all inject each other with this shit so they can lose
probably
weight.
do inject each other. It's like some weird sexual thing.
It's like a cult.
Yeah.
The Ozempic cult.
It's like initiating you into the Ozempic
It's like an eyes wide shut party with Ozempic. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking about these supposed Ozempic parties. We're also going to be talking about age gap relationships again because famed football coach Bill Belichick is dating a 24-year-old woman. He is 72 and people have thoughts. You win enough Super Bowls, you can date a 24-year-old, apparently.
Travis Kelce is cool with this.
Yeah,
though.
that's the rules. You win enough Super Bowls, you can date a 24-year-old cheerleader. That's what they're saying. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to get into the topic of brain rot. If you know what that means, you already have it.
Exactly.
Right? That's the best way. It's kind of like what I said, like porn, you know it when you see it. Brain rot, you know it because you already have it.
Do you have it? You're not Gen Z, but do you have Gen Z brain rot?
This job requires me to have
Is it my
brain
fault?
rot. No, I mean, I think the nature of the job requires me to have
If you're just chronically online.
Yes.
Being chronically online is our job.
Yes. So, it's kind of like there's so many memes where people, by the time they go viral, you're like, if you can explain this to someone, you're online too much. Right? Like a lot of memes that were going viral over the week were like, imagine having to, like, by now, Hawk Tuah Girl is making its way to Facebook and having to explain that to your parents.
Actually true. It's migrating to all of the normie platforms.
So, it is what it is. But I would say, yes, unfortunately, even though I am not Gen Z, I do have Gen Z brain rot. It's sad.
It's now a medical diagnosis.
We've all been there.
As well.
Yeah, well, hopefully, you're like the damage is reversible. Like one day I'll leave this job, my brain will severely will heal itself, with enough time away. So we're gonna talk about that. We're also gonna talk about there's a brand new viral trend. Do you remember how if you have a dad, like if you've got a boomer dad or a Gen X dad and they brag about not taking days off of work, it's like a meaningless thing where they talk about all the vacation days they've saved up.
Yeah.
Well, there's a new version of this going around. It's raw dogging flights where you go and you, for no reason whatsoever other than just to say you did it, you go take a long flight without any music, any books, any entertainment.
Not even water. You're not allowed to bring
water.
No water.
You just
You
do
sit
it,
there
okay?
with your thoughts.
Yeah.
No.
It's like a mindfulness exercise, I guess.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Stoicism.
So we're going to get into that. That's really what it is, right? It's stoicism. So we're going to talk about that. We get a bunch of other stuff. So if you ladies are ready, we will just get started. Mary, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Morgan, are you ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, first things first, and I did put this in the description box today. Bad news for everyone. The reshoots for Snow White have been completed, and the movie is going into post-production. thing.
But think about it. Isn't it kind of crazy that the movie was supposed to be out like 3 months ago?
Yeah.
Like, how did they F it up that bad?
I just feel like the outrage about Rachel Zegler was so bad that they have been just delaying it and delaying it and delaying it because they don't actually want to release it. We already know the box office numbers will tank.
And I know this sounds like cope or it sounds like an echo chamber take, but I do feel like their decision to delay the release date has a lot to do with Daily Wire's announcement.
Oh, I
Think
agree.
so?
I genuinely think that. Maybe, is that like an echo chamber take for me?
I think it's a bit of an echo
It
chamber
definitely was involved in their
mean,
decision.
I think that
The bad testing,
would
of course,
explain
is part
that.
of it.
I don't know if.
But they really gave Daily Wire a leg up because, you know, now they have the capability to release it at the same time.
I just don't know if I buy that a company the size of Disney, which is so bad at making changes to begin with, would do it for this reason. Like, we kind of go back and forth on this debate. Like, how much does YouTube critique actually affect things in the real world? Like, when we're talking about movies that tank, like, is it because people on YouTube made fun of the movie? Or is it because nobody in the real world was actually interested in it? It depends on how much you actually talk with regular people.
I think with the Disney case with Snow White, I think they're actually scared for what consumers are going to think about this film because there's already been so much drama about The Little Mermaid, race baiting and swapping, and then now we got like the Seven Dwarves, which is now the mysterious creatures. Like, I just feel like there's so much going on with Snow White, and then plus we just had
They are
the
dwarves
Disney.
again.
Oh, they are dwarves
again. If you look at
Right.
the picture, the very unfortunate picture.
So now,
But they're all CGI.
Yes.
They're all CGI dwarves because they couldn't cast real dwarves because that would be offensive because
Which is
Peter
so
Dinklage
dumb.
threw a
It's really
tantrum.
weird because remember I told you at like one point, like we tried to watch Once Upon a Time, and they had the dwarves in there, and I don't remember being they were just like normal height, short, but not
shorter people.
They were just shorter people. They weren't dwarves.
But the fact that was even controversial, like it's more controversial to hire dwarf actors than like now they're just CGI dwarves. That doesn't make any sense.
takes
to
jobs
me.
away from actual
Exactly.
working actors. There's a $20 right there.
Oh, Nate said, it's been so long since I could watch live. Did no one point out that Ariana Grande wanted to do dinner with a guy known specifically for cannibalism?
We did talk about this yesterday. Yeah, she did want to. But again, my point was that, look, she wasn't Dahmer's type.
Well, also, like, you would need to cater to his dietary restrictions.
That would be very interesting. He's like, look, I can't eat this.
Yeah,
it's like the opposite of a really picky vegan.
I mean, there are rumors that like Ariana's a witch, so maybe
Really?
she's into that.
I
Yeah.
thought that was about Taylor Swift, but she's
there
a
was
witch
a
too?
video that came out of Ariana that she was joking about being a witch, and people think it's real.
Because she's in Wicked? Or is
Maybe.
it some from like, before that?
It was before that, I think.
So does that mean
Weird.
like Dahmer, like if Dahmer was still around today, he'd have his own weird version of the lion diet, and he'd be an influencer online, and he'd just be.
He'd be Liver King 2.0, exactly.
Yes, he would. Look, we get famous criminals are a thing now. We've got Gypsy Rose Blanchard is famous, and she's a criminal.
She is a criminal.
Yeah.
People come out of jail famous these days.
But she has a sympathetic story. Jeffrey Dahmer doesn't.
But Dahmer doesn't need a sympathetic story because women love serial killers.
True. There's also Anna Delvey.
Yes.
Yeah, but again, financial crime.
Yeah.
I don't really.
People think she's cool.
It's not that bad.
There's another 20 there from Nate.
He said it was a tacit admission that she wants to eat a person.
I don't know about that. I think it was just her would-be edgy answer, right? Like, if I was to give an edgy answer on somebody that I would not like to have a conversation but who I thought maybe would be somebody really interesting to talk to, would be like Ted Kaczynski.
Well, what's worse is that she gave that answer to some 12-year-old who was accompanied by their
Well,
parents.
that's what she did ask. She's like,
I
can I
know,
give them the
but-
real answer? As if they're supposed to say, no, give the kid the fake answer.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like
Very weird.
But
weird.
I did see this part from the Screen Rant article that's running cover for Disney, as you know these mainstream sites usually do. They talk about there's a misconception that that reshoots are a sign of failure. That is true. A certain amount of reshoots are very traditional and very common in Hollywood. That is not what the case has been for this movie.
Changing the release date to more than a year after it was supposed to be released
Yes.
is a bad sign.
Correct.
Not to mention, I mean, the James O'Keefe blasting Disney coming out this week. I genuinely think that Disney is freaking out on the inside of their headquarters and like, what do we do? How are we going to make money? I mean, Bob Iger has been a problem for them for the last, I would say, 3 to 5 years, with millions of people just unsubscribing from Disney Plus. No one's watching their films anymore, and they just continue to push like the hyper woke films.
Yeah, James O'Keefe is having fun with it.
Oh yeah,
chasing after cars. Chasing after cars.
They always run.
Yeah. It's, I also, like, there's something funny about that too, because like the guy, like LA, famous for their traffic, and the guy gets into his car, he's like, shit. Like he's just like stuck in traffic. He's like, what the hell
He
do I
was
do?
weaving off of the road, like onto the shoulder, through parking spaces. He was scared.
So one time in his life, he wishes he like lived in the suburbs. So that
I think it was the one time in his life he wishes that he were married by the age of 45.
Yeah.
So that he wouldn't end up on some cringe hinge date.
Pretty much everyone in LA that's getting hinge dates these days is gonna have to worry that James O'Keefe is gonna pull a Chris a corporate Chris Hansen and
Take a seat over there.
Take a seat.
The 2 girls. It was the 2 girls that
was the
sent
best part, because
me.
James O'Keefe really didn't need to do that part.
No.
But he just had to like catch him off guard twice. I love it.
See, I think James O'Keefe should also just go back to what he really wants to do, which is stage. You know, he wants to make musical theater.
Of
we all
course.
know that that's what he really.
He's a theater kid at heart.
He wants to make, Oligarchy 2, that song that he released. So.
Amazing.
All right, so we will have to wait and see what goes on. But again, I don't think that the Daily Wire film, if anything, they should release them at the same time anyways and just play off one another. They should just release...
It's a symbiotic relationship.
They should release dueling ad campaigns where, there was we talked about when this was news, all the fake TikToks that were being made where they made it look like Brett Cooper was talking to Rachel Zegler.
They made it look like
Skype.
they were on a FaceTime call yelling at each other. It was so stupid.
Yes.
But hilarious.
All right, let's talk about what's going on with Hailey Bieber. Do you want to explain this?
Yeah, so Hailey Bieber recently announced that she is pregnant with her first child, and she is wearing some very risque outfits, but unfortunately some people are body shaming her during maternity over her pregnant belly. Which is really kind of sad.
She's going the Rihanna route, which is like as soon as you get pregnant, you just make sure your stomach is...
Well, okay, in this specific photo, she isn't wearing something super revealing. She's just kind of looks like she's in a bedsheet. But they said she's hideous and looks like Humpty Dumpty. I'm smiling.
Those are the ugliest sunglasses I've ever seen in my life.
I genuinely don't understand the Hailey Bieber hate. Like, she's gotten so much hate for her appearance, for marrying Justin, and then you have the Selena fans going after her, and now she's pregnant, happy with her husband, and the only thing they can make fun of her for is her pregnant belly. It's like I think they hate motherhood, and they just want Hailey Bieber to be miserable.
She's also part of the Nepo baby discourse as well.
True.
That's another thing that she's gotten heat for. But I want to know how you feel about like celebrity maternity fashion, because I think it's getting out of hand. Like, I don't think these fashion designers, especially the gay men in fashion, know how to design clothes that look good on pregnant women, and they end up just wearing crop tops with their bellies like bare and hanging out. Recently, Hailey Bieber.
I'm sorry, but this looks like a drink doily that would be at your grandma's house.
She looks like she's wearing a doily. It says Hailey Bieber wore a nearly naked maternity look for date night with Justin.
That was at her grandma's house on a table, and she took it and turned it into a dress.
Her coochie is just fully out. Like, is this really the look?
Also, in this look, she doesn't even look that pregnant. Like, I feel like anybody could wear that, but she's getting away with it because she is pregnant. But I think it's honestly completely distasteful. I feel like there is a way to highlight motherhood and pregnancy and have designs that cater towards women, but this is not it.
I mean, you'd think that would be a good idea, because one of the things we tend to criticize Hollywood about is they tend to be pretty anti-family, or at least the messages in the movies tend to be pretty anti-family as they lean into the idea of, chosen family. That's a big theme in Hollywood. So when the celebrities go out and actually have kids and have families, you'd want to support that in the right way. But, the fashion's not going to...
Well, yeah, the way that Rihanna was dressing while pregnant, I think she might be pregnant right now.
Made for great memes.
Yeah, it was just not it. She looked like Winnie the Pooh. Yeah. I'm not body shaming. I'm fashion shaming, and that's allowed because that's a choice. What you wear is a choice.
There is a way to look good when you're pregnant, but wearing this, it's like seeking too much attention. It's like you can have your pregnancy belly out and appreciate motherhood and beauty of that, but the lace is not doing it for me.
Also, like, your husband is the only person who thinks that you're sexy when you look like that.
Yeah.
And that's the way that it will stay.
Yep.
So it doesn't seem right.
All right. Speaking of bad fashion choices.
Yeah, Jared Leto recently wore a disturbing occult outfit.
Okay, disturbing is a bit on the.
I would call it disturbing.
It's a bit dorky.
It's demonic.
I would call it disturbing.
Lame.
Yes, it
I
says
don't like it.
He's wearing a cross made of 2 nails, which symbolize the death of Christ, and blood-covered gloves, which we can assume represents how Christ bled out while attending the Vogue World Paris fashion show.
We used to have real cult leaders in this country, and now we're stuck with this.
I am surprised Jared Leto didn't dress up as Jesus at the Met Gala that year, where everything was like Catholicism inspired, because people do compare him to Jesus a lot. It's really just because he has long hair. But this is disturbing.
I mean, it's flat out, it's demonic, and it further is the Hollywood industry normalizing satanic things in our culture.
Let me help you find a way to think of it. Not that it isn't demonic, depending on your religious beliefs, but if you want to think of it in a term that makes it more dorky, what you have to imagine is him getting ready and putting this on and like
and people doing his makeup and his hair.
He's in front of a mirror and he's like pulling his pants up, looking like a complete dweeb.
He has dip-dyed hair at he's 50 now.
It's embarrassing.
It is kind of embarrassing.
But it's like a little of the humiliation side of things. I mean, like, I'm a Christian and I see it and I'm like, I feel like he enjoys the attention of being so like avant-garde and wanting that attention and the embarrassment. It's like, fine.
We were recently talking about Hollywood humiliation rituals, or the concept of humiliation rituals, on the show while you were out, Brett. And I wanted to ask you, do you think that is a real thing that goes on?
No, I absolutely think it's a real thing.
Like, is there an example of that comes to mind, of like a celebrity?
Honestly, most recently, I genuinely think the Bachelorette star that is saying that he's trans, I think that could be a
Wait, I haven't seen
ritual.
this.
You haven't seen that?
Really?
Yeah.
So there's, I think his name is Josh. He was on the Bachelorette. He allegedly came out as pansexual or something.
Okay.
But now he is trans. He was on Alex Stein's show the other night.
It's really, it's hard to watch. It's so embarrassing.
Really hard to watch because he's saying, no, I am transgender. And it's like, you are clearly a man who's wearing red lipstick. It literally looks like putting lipstick on a pig.
Weird.
And I am completely convinced that it is a total grift and he's not actually transgender. I think it's a grift.
We've got a 20 from Skateman 2010. He said, Brett, you and my son share the same birthday next week, and that's awesome. You will be posting your Cash App that day?
I will not. No? I will not. That was a joke. It does feel that, I don't know about humiliation ritual. I do think of it as this is the most recent hip thing. Right, and this is just people pivot, right? People pivot.
About some of like the football players and like there's so many.
Now, if you want to talk the movie stars who take the roles that put them into dresses and stuff like that.
If you bring up like Chelsea Manning, that is a humiliation ritual right there. But only because I know that there's a deep state context to that story.
I guess when people hear that, the question they'd want to ask you is like, okay, so we know that we're saying Hollywood is doing the humiliating. So did they get like an email from like Brian at Hollywood.com?
The last example that they brought up was, and that we covered on the show, was John Cena showing up on the Oscars stage. Thank you. Like looking like he was totally naked for the audience.
Well, yeah, but like, you danced.
This is our dance break.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, so John Cena putting on like the thigh highs in the dress for Ricky Stenicki is one thing, but buff dude goes out onto stage pretty much naked is just par for the course. I don't think of that as a humiliation.
Really? But
no.
Why else would he do that?
First of all, he's always had like that sense of humor. Despite
I just feel like there's
image.
a really dark side of Hollywood that maybe this is like the echo chamber in me that is so sold on Hollywood is evil, run by satanic people. But I genuinely think that there's at some point you have to do something so humiliating to get yourself further in your Hollywood career.
I mean, he already did that. He apologized in Mandarin for saying Taiwan was a country. That's humiliating. That's like, was
that a humiliation ritual?
I see what a lot of these people do is like remember that if you're center right or you're right leaning, you probably have a stronger opinion on sexual morality and all of these things. And the type of humor that was popular when I was a kid, and if you grew up as a normie, this was the norm. And I'm not saying that that's good or whatever, but I'm saying that
be the norm so that normies wouldn't think anything of it.
But we talk all the time about actors who come up with the ideas like, you have to free yourself. You have to be uninhibited. You have to be uninhibited
with your sexuality.
If I'm to buy into the fact that they believe in their profession and then they take what they do seriously, that they would do that every bit as willingly as they would these lame sex scenes that they force upon us to watch that nobody actually likes.
Yeah, it's just as believable that they are so narcissistic, they'll do anything for attention, whether it's positive or negative.
Because they want the fame.
So it is impossible to prove, but I do believe there have been humiliation rituals.
Like, I guess my example to that point is like him in the dress in the movie seems more like that than just coming out fake naked.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like he was a bodybuilder. Bodybuilders go out on stage practically naked to show off physique, and that's by their own choice. So I see these as like competing views of the world that just might be a little bit colored by what our worldview is in the media we consume.
What if Seth Rogen was the one who went out on stage looking like he was?
No, I
totally
think he's high and he buys into it and he loves it.
He's not, exactly the ideal male physique.
No, he's not. No.
So that would be more humiliating than what John Cena did.
I guess, but he's
presumably.
He's already like a big time producer though, so he doesn't have to do that. He's going to be able to pick his position in a movie. He's already on the financial side of things, so he doesn't have to worry about that. But anyway, Jared Leto looks like a dork. If a guy comes up to you dressed like this, don't give him the credit by saying he's demonic. Call him a dork and move on, and then it takes his power away.
Well, he's both. I think he's a
You're a demonic dork.
He's a demonic dork.
All right.
Demons are dorks.
All right. Bad news for everyone. If
this
you
is
like
good
football,
news for women.
If you like football and your girlfriend likes Hallmark movies, you're in for a treat.
That's a lot of people.
Yep.
Okay, so the NFL has teamed up with Hallmark to essentially make a rom-com inspired by Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's relationship. And I don't think that's that far-fetched. Obviously, it's not going to be portraying them in the movie, but it's titled Holiday Touchdown, a Chiefs love story.
It's a guy named Travis Kelce, and
it's literally being set in Kansas City, and this is an official collaboration. The official synopsis is Alana is sure that her family's lifelong history as Kansas City Chiefs super fans make them a frontrunner to win the team's Fan of the Year contest. Derek, director of fan engagement, is tasked with evaluating how Alana and her family stack up against the other two finalists.
Wait,
as the pair spends time together, it's clear there's a spark between them.
You're telling me that he doesn't work on like a small pickle farm and she's not a big executive from the city?
No.
It's embarrassing. No. I hate the concept of this movie because it feels too forced. Like, obviously the entire world has been following the Taylor Swift Travis Kelce romance, but the fact that there is now an official film, it's too much.
You think? Are you annoyed by the amount of attention that their relationship has gotten?
No, I'm a Swiftie, and I know we disagree on everything Taylor Swift, but I'm not annoyed by it at all because I think it's honestly given something a little bit fun and positive in the news cycle other than like doom scrolling all the time.
Okay. It's not fun for football fans, we've heard.
But it's also like such a minor percentage of the actual game, I feel like. I will say I think the NFL overcovered their relationship. It was a little too much to an extent of like, we're just going to talk about them all the time.
Like panning to her at the box so often.
Like every clip. Like they highlight celebrities. Like obviously they're a big couple. But the fact that there's like a movie about it is just it's a stretch. It's a stretch. Hallmark is like, oh, we're going to hop on this bandwagon. Everyone's talking about it.
You think we should review a Hallmark movie for the first time ever?
I feel like it's just going to be really corny. Like, I don't know what the budget is, but it just is giving like the Hallmark.
Well, it's a Hallmark
holiday.
movie. It's supposed to be corny.
Look, people can say what they want about Hollywood not meeting demands. Hallmark makes bank.
They know who their audience is.
They know their audience, and
people will watch it.
Yes, and this is why one of my favorite metas on the internet is the fake videos about like Hallmark movies. where people do the impersonations of each.
He runs a struggling pumpkin patch.
Yes.
she's from the big city.
She's an ad exec from the big city, and they fall in love, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I love those.
No, but you know what was a humiliation ritual is Taylor Swift getting Travis Kelce to like be one of the backup dancers at her shows.
No way. No chance. In her new Tortured Poets. No.
He's probably into it. I mean,
I'm sure that he's probably
Swifties
into
have
it.
been like waiting for this moment. It all started with a friendship bracelet and a dream, and now he's on stage with the love of his life.
I love when you mentioned friendship bracelets on the show one time about that, and somebody's like, friendship bracelets have existed for a long time, right? Taylor didn't invent friendship bracelets.
Obviously.
Okay, but I know that he looked like he was having a ton of fun and everything, but she's never had like her boyfriend on stage with her before, and it seems like
I feel like it was the hard launch of hard launches, because obviously everyone knows they're dating, but how much more iconic when it's their last night in London, where her ex, Joe Alwyn, is from London. The song The Black Dog is about a pub in the UK. How much more iconic on the last day of her show, Travis Kelce comes out. I don't know.
Like it's a flex of their relationship on her ex.
A little bit.
Because that's like, I don't know, you're 35,
like,
you know,
like not looking back.
Yeah, like you're 35, you don't need to like
I just feel like it's iconic
on...
because all the Swifties are bought into it. All of Travis's family was also at that show. Like Jason was there, Jason's wife, like everyone was at London Night 3.
I think I'm just a hater.
I think you are.
I'm just a hater. That's who I am at heart. I'm never gonna change.
I won't judge. It's okay.
Speaking of hating, we picked a couple of small memes from the debate last night. There was a lot. I didn't watch the debate. What it was is I watched a regular TV show and I was basically having it live tweeted back to me. Like
commentary.
I was live commentary on it as it was going on.
It's kind of the elephant in the room, but we're not going to be.
What I love about it is like the reason the shows have been bad this week is because I too have a cold, and that's why I'm brain dead.
It's the same cold that Joe Biden had.
I like this one though. Let's watch this clip really quick.
I personally believe that U.S. Americans are unable to do so because some people out there in our nation don't have maps, and I believe that our education, like such as in South Africa and the Iraq, everywhere like such as, and I believe that they should, our education over here in the U.S. should help the U.S. or should help South Africa and should help the Iraq and the Asian countries. I personally...
What we need, you know what we need? We need beauty pageants to go back to this, where like the answers are really dumb. Like I'm sick. I don't want smart beauty queens. I want dumb beauty queens.
I think that she was more coherent than Joe Biden was last night.
I want beauty queens to be like, I have no idea what's going on in Israel and Palestine.
She said it with gusto. And that's what I respect.
Yep.
Exactly.
She came with the facts.
Mary found this one.
This is not from last night's debate.
No, it's
but
not. But it was going
the
around.
debate we all wanted to see.
It was going around.
If you want to go, then you go to hill and go down.
Why you get fired,
Yes,
man?
why? Are you crazy?
You're fucking paranoid, man.
You are fucking.
You fucking you bloody.
You bloody.
Fuck you bloody. Bastard bitch.
You
fuck
bastard,
you.
you.
Bloody fuck you bloody. Fucking mother bloody fuck bitch.
But you
Bloody fuck you.
That would have been a better debate anyways.
I wish they could interrupt each other more. Like that was my one L from last night. It was like it was way too cordial, and there were some bangers from Trump, but I was like, why can't we need some more interruptions here?
Yeah, it was kind of gay because like that Biden's team was the one who insisted on muting mics, not the other way around.
Well, it was like the 2016 moment when Trump turned to Hillary Clinton and goes, "Yeah, because you'd be in jail." Like,
you're never gonna get that again. That's and didn't they have like a handheld mic back then?
I think they did.
Yeah. And they got to like kind of pace around. Like I like that energy.
They had to be stuck at their podium.
It was very buttoned up last night.
Cyrus in the chat says thank you, come again. Did you remember when Vivek tweeted that? Thank you, come again.
Oh yeah, the Apu meme.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Another person thought that they found a clip where you can hear Biden pooping himself.
Because it's too much money. It's tremendous. That we saved our steel.
They claim that this is not edited at all. No. I did not hear that when I was watching, but that's crazy.
Honestly, the winner of the debate last night was Harry Sisson, who's like the funniest. He is the funniest account on Twitter because I love it. Just lie. Just lie. It's hilarious.
He was like, boom, Biden just dropped the mic on Trump.
Like, don't do what all the other celebrities are doing, which is coping like, oh, he had a bad night. Like, he had a cold, he had a bad night. I love the idea that he's just like, bro,
Just delusion.
that
So
was amazing.
Just straight delusion.
How could you be so bought in though at that point? Like, how much Biden juice is he drinking? And I
love
really
it.
hope that he's getting paid so much money, because if he's not, I feel bad for the kid.
Get that bag, King.
It's
Like, honestly, get the bag.
cha-ching.
Take it from the DNC.
Like, I love it. Like,
he was like getting paid on commission per tweet. I bet. Yeah.
Honestly, because he was like, Trump got absolutely roasted by Biden. On his TikTok, he posted a clip of Biden having a gaffe when Biden said like, oh, there's like 1,000 trillionaires. I mean billionaires. He posted that as if Biden looked good.
The entire thing was a gaffe.
It was bad.
They, you know, for money. What did the Krasensteins say? What are they up to?
I don't know, Brett.
I have to ask. It's weird because hearing about all this stuff, and then you see that they didn't allow them to interrupt each other and stuff like that. And it did actually seem to benefit Trump last night. 100%. But for the most part, I did like that RFK did the thing afterwards, and they're like, he got 10 million views. I'm like, that doesn't matter either. Right. Like, it's like, none of this stuff matters because I feel like most of the people have their minds made up, and you've got like a small amount of independence, but who really cares when there's memes?
The memes are great.
That's what Elon tweeted. He goes, last night was a victory for memes.
Yeah.
True.
Yep.
The American people.
I would love to know, is there anyone in our audience that was like, maybe they weren't going to vote for Biden, but they're like, you know.
Did this change your mind?
I mean, I'm still all in for Fetterman 2024, so write-in ballot. But, you know, is there anybody in our audience that was like, changed their mind? Did the debate change anyone's mind last night?
I highly doubt it.
It would be
especially
interesting.
from our audience. But
it would be interesting. All right. Yeah. Let's. What would you like to see? So we do a segment called Cringe of the Day, and we do a segment called Cute of the Day, and you can pick whichever one we see first.
Cringe or cute?
Yep.
Cringe.
Cringe first?
all right.
Do cringe first.
Good choice. All right.
I mean, we just saw some cringe, but
We
that
did.
wasn't
This
the
is
cringe
cringe
of the
as
day.
well.
Cringe.
It says, POV, you go on a date, but she speaks in TikTok brainrot language. So this is like
This
ahead
is a
of the
teaser
schedule.
for
Yes,
next.
later. Here we go. Hold on.
Boyfriend energy, which is amazing. Hi, oh my god, the fit is fitting. Pop off king, you're totally giving golden retriever boyfriend energy, which is amazing because I want to be giving black cat energy. So you know what I mean? Anyway, I read all the reviews on this restaurant on TikTok, and apparently the tuna tartare app is absolutely to die for, and it is life changing. But I might get a chicken Caesar salad. You know, like movie, when we're back in Poughkeepsie, I feel it. I'm so obsessed with watching her TikTok journey. I'm so obsessed with her. Yeah, anyway, what are you gonna get to drink? I'm feeling like an espresso martini moment, but everything in here is giving dirty martini aesthetic. Olive Girl summer, and also I was trying to go for like a classy old money core vibe. Yeah, so I feel like a dirty martini will match my aesthetic a little bit more.
I have to interrupt. What is Olive Girl Summer?
No.
Is that a complexion comment?
It's like, it's about like the martini has an olive in it, so she's an olive girl.
All right.
Like, you heard of Tomato Girl?
No.
No, what's
No.
Tomato Girl?
It's like, it's just girl brain rot. It's like yeah.
The great thing about
it
this
doesn't
job,
mean anything.
The great thing about this job for me is there's so much stuff that as soon as I'm done, I just pick it up and I just discard
You're
it
done.
because it doesn't mean anything. But let's continue.
Hobbies. Oh, sorry, I'm just on my phone because I posted a GRWM and OOTD for the date ahead of time, and I just want to see how it was doing. Yeah, but golf? Yeah, that's so slay. Yeah, what are my hobbies? How dare you ask me? Girl hobbies, of course. Yeah, I really like hot girl walking. I really like girl dinner. I really like getting my hair done and like online shopping. That's girl therapy. Yeah, I think I might do like a Scandinavian hairline or maybe like an old money blonde. Ooh, or maybe a cowboy copper. What do you think? No, it's not natural blonde. Okay, there aren't any adult blondes out there, okay? What do you do for work? Finance. You're a finance bro.
Is he 6'5"?
Yeah, silly.
Does he have blue eyes?
Red flag. Oh, you heard that? Yeah, that's so great.
Do people actually? What's sad? I actually met some people that talk like this.
Really?
Like unironically, when I go on college campuses, you just hear like slay and like finance. Like people actually talk like this.
I've never met anyone who
Gen
talks
Zers.
like that, but
Is
since
the
you're
guy-
going on college campuses, that makes sense.
Like I feel like the brain rot of this and the TikTok fandom, it's becoming reality. It's real. They get off their phones and they don't know how to have real conversations because all they ingest all day is that.
We hear a lot about how society's trying to turn like women into men and men into women. If you want a white pill in this situation, this is uniquely female.
Very.
Like,
Well, this is just female brain rot. There's
Yeah.
female brain rot and there's male brain rot.
and as soon as she said all that, he goes, "So have you seen that Hawk Tuah chick or what?" Like,
I'm kind of in my Sigma male grind set
Yeah.
right now.
he's like, so like Andrew Tate and crypto and this and
Yeah, I
that.
got like the manosphere.
Are you feeling my Riz right now?
Yes, you know. He's like, I'm about to mog this dinner. Yeah. All right, that was yes.
Disturbing, but like also kind of true.
I wonder how she. I wonder if she like. Was that off the cuff?
That's what I'm saying.
Did she
Yes.
teleprompt that shit?
Like that, it's concerning that she knows all of these terms and can just fly with
There
it.
was no cuts there.
No.
That was not edited.
I
at all.
appreciate that. That's a talent.
Like we can't even get politicians to give like clipped videos without like 15 cuts in between.
I want to see her in the debate meme where
Yes.
she's on Biden's side and Trump is just like making
Somebody,
faces at
yes,
her.
somebody make that happen. Somebody make
Please,
that happen.
that.
Okay. All right, let's do some cute of the day as well. Some people have been submitting here. First of all, let me shrink that down there. All right, here we go. First things first. I moved, this one came in yesterday, but I moved it to the front of the queue because it was so awesome. It says, our 37.5 pound love bug.
That's
That is an
crazy.
obese cat.
I'm sorry, but your cat is so fat. I mean, I love it.
It's amazing.
But wow.
I'm a cat person. I love
That's
cats.
a
but that's-
chungus.
That is, it looks like it takes a good nap. Like it loves a good nap.
Damn.
That is amazing. Thank you for submitting that. Do one more here. This is from Curtis Schultz. It says, my niece and nephew's Great Dane Olive have having a spirited debate about leash laws with another dog.
It's a better debate than what we just saw.
Yes. Very cute.
Is that a Dalmatian?
Let's do one more here. Again, I gotta get these videos out of here. This is from Cookie Don. It says, a clip from over 5 years ago of our family cat enjoying the sun.
Aw.
So cute.
Just soaking it up and kind of fighting his own tail.
That's the
At the
doom
same
scroll
time.
I do. Is I just watch like cute cat videos on Instagram.
Me too. Yeah.
They're the best.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started then, shall we? All right, so I guess we're breaking this story before everyone else. The super secret VIP Ozempic parties.
Yeah, it's no secret that Ozempic is being widely used in Hollywood, whether these celebrities admit it or not. But more disturbing is a new rumor that they're throwing secret Ozempic parties with each other. A bunch of rich people getting together to use off-label Ozempic illegally during the middle of a national shortage for the people with diabetes that actually need this drug.
They have to go, like, they have to prove that they don't have a prescription for it. That's how you get into the party.
Mindy Kaling is the cover of this piece because she's had some dramatic weight loss in recent years. And she claims that it's because of portion control and exercise, but I think we all know the truth. This says, rumors have surfaced suggesting celebrities are hosting extravagant Ozempic parties despite the nationwide shortage of the drug, as well as anonymous allegations that some stars are using and gatekeeping similar drugs to achieve rapid weight loss. And this comes from an anonymous source that put in a blind item a while back saying, Hollywood wants you to think they're taking a drug beginning with an O to help them lose weight. It's a distraction. There is a much better drug, and one that actually costs nearly nothing, but they want to keep it a secret. It makes you lose weight even faster than Ozempic. It is also an injectable drug, and one thing is A-list actress / writer / producer Mindy Kaling does every week is have injection parties, so no one has to inject themselves.
This is disturbing. Every week, I thought that you only had to take Ozempic like every month.
I think it depends on the dosage for each person, like if you're more overweight versus less, but definitely if you can't get it from a doctor prescription, you're going to have to go to one of these Hollywood parties and have
where they
someone
have it.
have
They're,
Mindy
like,
Kaling
importing
inject
it.
your stomach with Ozempic for you
This
or
rem-
whatever they're using.
This reminds me back in 2020 when people would have like those closeted house parties during like during lockdowns because you couldn't go out. It's like now it's the new thing. Ozempic parties in Hollywood, can't get it on the shelves. It's sold out everywhere.
You have to prove you don't have diabetes to get in. Like,
It is crazy that like a lot of celebrities during the lockdown period, especially with those strict regulations in LA, they definitely were hosting parties and at the same time preaching to the public, the peasants, that they should not be going out without a mask
My
on.
favorite is the
not for me.
picture of Alyssa Milano with the crocheted mask with holes in it.
Just looking absolutely deranged.
Yeah, she does
Yeah.
too. She always looks deranged.
But this is basically, you know, spirit cooking, except for sharing your drugs.
I mean, there's nothing new about that. Like
No.
parties where everybody puts a bottle of pills into a bowl and then you just
Take
do that.
one.
Like that's a thing. Like
Which one is worse?
Probably that one.
That one
Honestly,
is
probably
worse.
that one. Yeah. Like if we're talking about overdose interaction, you know, drug interactions and stuff like that, probably that. But you know, if we're coming all the way from the idea that Hollywood does the eyes wide shut parties. You know, they can't do that if everyone's fat, so you got to go to the Ozempic party first before you can go to
Get
the eyes
skinny.
wide shut party.
Yeah, but in case you guys needed another reason to hate Hollywood celebrities, this person tweeted, "My mom, a diabetic, can't access her Ozempic meds due to a global shortage because people are terrified of being fat and would rather make themselves be permanently disabled to be thin. I hate this effing reality." Another person said, "Celebrities self-immolating their bowels with Ozempic instead of working out. The long-term side effects of this trend will be tragic."
Oh, I definitely think we're going to see people just getting sick all the time. I mean, ER rates were spiking when the Ozempic craze first started. And it makes me sad. It's a little funny that how beauty standards have changed over the years. Because think about how everyone was gaining weight, wanted the curves, the BBLs, the big boobs, the fillers, the Botox, and now they all want to get rid of it. And so the fastest way to get rid of it is, let me inject myself every single week and get myself to like the skinniest and frail, unhealthy as possible.
A lot of people think that Kylie is using Ozempic now
I don't doubt it.
because she's like unveiling this new body that she has.
Yeah.
It's totally unrecognizable from what she had before.
Oh, I think any celebrity that looks thin who isn't like actively showing that they work out every day or have like a nutritionist is 100% using some sort of semi-glutide.
Like Gwyneth Paltrow is skinny because she eats nothing but broth and asparagus. But
Fine.
for the rest of them,
Yeah.
especially if they've been fat for a very long time, like Mindy Kaling or
Yeah.
Oprah, for instance, like I don't believe that suddenly, just as you're in your midlife crisis, you decided like this is when I'm going to be skinny. I think you decided now that there's a convenient way to do it that doesn't require any work.
It
they're gonna
doesn't,
go
also
with that.
doesn't look the same. Like good
Their
exercise.
faces definitely don't look the same.
the Ozempic
taking-
fingers.
Yeah.
They look like little skeletons.
Crypt keepers.
Celebrities used to use cocaine like reasonable people when they wanted to get skinny, and now, you know,
They used to be bulimic or snort coke, and now this is what
It's
we're
too
doing.
Real
convenient
work.
to be skinny now. So they just inject themselves.
Yeah.
But the thing is they're also simultaneously starving themselves because they don't have an appetite when on it. So they don't eat. They're not working out to maintain the weight loss to where if they stop taking Ozempic, they're just going to gain it all back.
Well, the sad part is you're not going to convince anyone to stop taking Ozempic because of the health effects.
No.
They're only going to be convinced to stop if you tell them it will make them ugly and old looking, which is exactly what's
true.
happening when we talked about Ozempic face.
I also don't buy that a bunch of these celebrities aren't taking Adderall and stuff like that. I just don't. It's
You
just
think?
too common, especially
Yeah.
amongst younger celebrities. So if you can't even keep the weight off when taking Adderall, then you're gonna have to work even harder.
Do you think they act on Adderall?
Probably. So, to some extent, I think.
Because, like, wouldn't you be able to tell?
It would really depend on the type of scene that you're doing, because depending on how often you use it, if you actually
It's true.
need it, right, your body, the physiological response to it
But think
will
about
be different.
set times, like how long they're
6
on
a.m.
set.
But the thing is like, okay, so drug-induced energy has a cap that eventually causes you to crash, whereas actually getting in shape and getting on a good routine, meaning you get up early every day, even if you don't do it all year round, but you do it for the time on set, sucks, but has a benefit to it. But then there's also there's every bit of the opportunity that what they're doing is they're taking the uppers and the downers to even out, which is very, very common.
Never-ending
as well.
cycle.
It really, really is.
Yeah.
And I don't doubt. Like, do I put it past any of them to be on all of this stuff? No, not at all. It's just funny that this is the most one. This is the one that's really, really popular.
I just hate when people pretend they don't care about how they look and they pretend they don't care about being skinny.
Everyone cares.
Clearly, being skinny is important to these people. They pretended for a while that they were body positive, but we can see in the results now, they wanted to be skinny all along. They just didn't want to put in any of the work.
I was going to say the body positivity movement is a total cope. Like, and I think it's ending because of the Ozempic craze, because nobody actually wants to be fat and people just aren't willing to put in the work.
Well, they want to comment on some fat person's Instagram post, like, you look beautiful,
This
queen,
is the
but
worst.
they don't want to be fat.
This is the worst of the trait of females, is that they will go on to every other girl's post and say,
lie.
you look beautiful. My favorite example that I always give is this woman who would post videos about how she married a dude in prison and would make videos about it, and women would be in the comments like, you guys have a love story for the ages. And I'm like, these women hate
They
you.
never stop each other's self-destructive decisions.
No, they don't.
No, women will lie to your face and be like, you look beautiful. I'm like, I love that outfit. It's like the like Mean Girls, the Regina George. Like, where's your skirt?
Yeah,
No.
it's the ugliest effing skirt I've ever
Same.
seen. But like, I went back on our channel and I looked to the earliest point when we started talking about Ozempic, and I think it really was rising to public recognition in 2022. That our first video about it was September 2022, and it hasn't taken that long for people to start talking about Ozempic regret. Especially like Sharon Osbourne. She was on Ozempic, went off of it because she was getting way too frail and skinny, and she's also like pretty old, so that's dangerous for her.
So bad.
And now she hasn't been able to gain any of the weight back.
That's scary.
And she's been off of it for a while now. And it's disturbing to see it.
I feel like
happen.
there's just, you can't one size fits all. Ozempic can work for everybody. The semaglutide works for everyone, and people are taking it like it will, and they're having different thyroid problems, side effects, and we're going to see it just continue to be worse. Like, what's going to happen when there's actually an even worse shortage where no one can get it anymore?
One article from Evie said Ozempic regret is rising from constant vomiting to gastroparalysis. More and more Ozempic users are suffering from unforeseen extreme side effects, and they're making their voices heard online and in the news. So maybe you should have thought of that before you took a drug that was for someone with a certain disease that you didn't have.
Didn't
right?
Oprah recently go to the hospital?
Yep.
For her Ozempic? Well, people
Well,
are
she
saying
didn't
it's-
say that it was because of that, but it was definitely like
Inferred.
a gastrointestinal thing,
Yeah.
because her best friend outed her for it, saying like she had stuff coming out of both sides. Guys, I'm not going to go any further than that, but that's pretty clearly what was going on. And she hasn't publicly said that she's on Ozempic, but of course she wouldn't.
This reminds me back in like the Victoria's Secret model craze era where people would do anything to be skinny. It's like that, but now there's a drug for it.
It seemed like
They will do
maybe
anything to be skinny other than work out and exercise.
I'm not saying
other than
that like
exercise
we
and
should
eat dinner.
promote eating disorders or something, but you know, it does add a barrier to entry.
Yeah.
At least,
Mm-hmm.
right?
You have to do something.
Right. Like it kind of was better for society when we idolized a body you didn't need to go under the knife to achieve as well.
Yeah.
So for a while, like the BBLs and the implants and the fillers were the most popular. Now they're getting it all dissolved
Everyone's
and
getting rid of them.
removed.
It's like when people in like the gym community talk about like whether they're natural or not, and that's a discussion that happens. And there's plenty of them that are happy to admit that they're not, because their physique is what matters to them, and it's about the work that's put into it and the supplements that they're taking. And plenty of them have no problem admitting that they're using steroids.
I just feel like it needs to be more transparent. Like the body dysmorphia is just continuing, I feel like, for the next generation, because they're so chronically online that they just see unrealistic, whether it's skinny or curvy or fillers or not. And I feel like the more that we encourage just natural beauty, like I have no work done. Why can't we just keep pushing like, hey, you're beautiful the way you are, not in a body positive way, but just live your life healthy and normal.
Sketch Therapy says Brett is an athlete. He never did drugs for superficial reasons. Yes, that's exactly
You're
right.
roided up for those skate competitions.
Yeah. Well, no. Who was it? Ryan Garcia got his most recent fight turned on him because he tested positive, and
I don't know what these people think that is going to happen when they get drug tested. Like, you're
You
taking
can't hide
drugs,
it.
you're getting drug tested, people are going to find out.
yeah.
Where's the logic?
Yeah.
Did he just think it was
And
going to
then-
be out
no,
of his system at that point?
Simone Biles, who's like the best gymnast ever, ended up like she wasn't allowed to take her Adderall when she was at the last Olympics because they didn't allow it in that.
Oh.
Where was that at? Do you remember where that was? It wasn't France, was it?
No, that's this year.
That's this year. But wherever it was, they just because she's prescribed to it, but it's considered by their rules to be a performance enhancing drug because I mean it's a stimulant. It is.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I think that's fair.
Take of that what you will, like depending on the person.
But is she the same person that dropped out because of her mental health?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the same year, wasn't it?
But it's crazy because she's so good. Like that's what's crazy about it. Like my instinct when I saw that was like, give me a break. At least try to like it's the Olympics.
I feel like you could still
But
compete not being on Adderall.
Who am I to tell literally the best gymnast in the world or the best what to do?
I guess.
But-
I mean, I don't know.
But
It did seem kind of soft.
It did to me, but
Because she
again,
said it was because of anxiety.
I saw
Which
that.
Adderall not going to make your anxiety worse, or it's going to make it worse, not better.
No. Okay, so it would make your anxiety in a natural state worse. But if we're talking hyper competitive states and you're used to being on it, I don't think so. I get what you're saying. It would cause anxiety when you're coming down, but that's not the same thing as performance anxiety.
You've been performing and competing as a gymnast for so long. Like yes, on Adderall, off Adderall. Like you're on the Olympic stage. Just go and compete. And if you don't score 100%, at least like you did it. And I feel like giving up is just weak.
Well, that's then you go into the bulletproof excuse you have in the new generation, which is make it some type of activist cause, which is mental health awareness.
Exactly. Okay, let's read some super chats. Shane H. Wilder said, "Happy Friday, Brett, Mary, and Morgan. Brett, getting Mary and Olivia sick is one thing. They'll get over it. But why did you get Biden sick? It's dangerous to get elderly dementia patients sick."
Yeah, that was my fault, guys. Or maybe I'm an operative. Like
This is election interference, Brett.
That's what it is.
Andrew Jacobs said, #lock her up. Her equals Dr. Jill Biden. #Mocha 2024.
No.
What is Jill gonna get locked up for?
Well, because they're saying that she is the puppet master for Biden. I mean, the clip
She's
last
the handler.
night, she is the handler of it. Like, oh, Biden, you did so good. You answered every question.
You're doing amazing, sweetie. Yeah. GraphWeb said, FFS, #cancel Disney Plus. I mean, if you haven't already, definitely should.
Let's do one more.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Continued prayers, Mary." Damn it, Brett.
Yeah. It's all my
said,
fault.
I have allergies.
Yeah. Well, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine. We're good. All right, let's go ahead and move on then, shall we? Let's talk about Bill Belichick.
Yes, the discourse about age gap relationships rages on, and the latest example of that is famous football coach Bill Belichick and his new girlfriend, who is 48 years his junior. Her name is Jordan Hudson, and their relationship has faced a lot of memeing, a lot of clowning, but also a lot of genuine backlash because some people believe that it's creepy for a 24-year-old to be dating a 72-year-old, right?
72.
He's not in his
72.
60s, he's in his 70s. Even her ex-boyfriend, who was 64, came out to defend her and say, this is totally normal.
What?
But clearly she has a type.
How old was she when he was dating him? Oh, I mean,
And her type is money.
The woman that Al Pacino got pregnant was also dating an old man before she got pregnant by Al Pacino.
You're right.
Yeah. I mean, that's the ultimate goal, is an anchor baby, right? But look, if her type is money, you can find plenty of rich guys, especially
But
in the
he's gonna
NFL,
die.
who are not in their 70s.
Because if she marries him and there's no prenup and he dies, she's just going to live her best life.
What they made CSI episodes about back in the day.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like he cares about how it's being perceived.
Dude is literally going to just shoot it until he dies, and that's it.
So Travis Kelce recently weighed in on this on his own podcast, and he just said that Bill Belichick is a smooth operator, essentially saying that, he stands by him.
It's the meme. It's the she was 24, you sick bastard.
Yeah, he said he wanted nothing to do with the Belichick relationship talk and shut it down.
Yeah,
interesting.
That's a lose-lose for him, right? Like, it's just too hot button of an issue.
Why is it a hot button issue, though? Like, I
imagine that the fans of his girlfriend would have strong opinions on age gap relationships.
Absolutely. But then why is it, like, Travis is basically condoning it, saying, like, oh, smooth operator, he's doing fine. Like, go him. But I think it's disgusting. Like, I'm 24. The thought of me dating someone who is like my grandfather, like, that's disgusting. I don't think we should be normalizing these absurd age gaps relationships.
What's the max age gap that's not disgusting? Like that should be capped at.
For me, I wouldn't date someone older than probably 35.
Okay.
That would probably be my oldest. At 24, I turn 25 next month. So I would say my age gap limit is like 35. I will say the older you get, the better it is. So like if you're 40 and you're dating someone 55, that's okay. But 40-year difference, like that's your grandpa.
That it's almost 50
Well, who
in
is
this
it?
case.
Who
but
are we just talking about recently? Cher is with somebody who's 40 years younger than her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but she's so old that he's
Yeah.
like in his 30s, right?
I think so.
Nobody is going to think that a
No.
35-year-old man is getting groomed
Yeah.
by Cher.
How old is Leonardo DiCaprio now? Because I know he's got the 25-year.
49.
Yeah,
So-
isn't he like 50?
Which I still think is kind of gross. Like even Leo dating the younger 20s. I'm like, people are doing it. I just feel like for the fame, the attention, and the money at that point.
Well,
Because
of
I don't-
course, yes.
Well, then,
Because is anyone doing this in a normie situation? No, it is only like these hyper celebrity men who are super wealthy dating these young women who want that life.
Yeah, statistically, it's very abnormal. Most people, it's kind of shocking actually how rare age gaps are on average. The average couple is only 3 years apart in age or less. And it's really it's something you only see with people in the public eye.
Yeah.
more
Did you
so.
watch the movie that had Anne Hathaway in it about the age gap relationship of her as a mom falling
We
in
talked
love
about
with,
it.
We talked about it,
I did
yeah.
not watch it.
I
but
watched it. And
What was that like?
it was normalizing age gap relationships in my eyes because they didn't depict it like it was as big of an age gap as the book actually was.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
when you're actually watching the movie, you're like, oh, this is like kind of normal. And the daughter's like okay with it. But I think it was still just disturbing. Why would like a 40-year-old mom be
Well, it's
dating
like-
like a 20-year-old pop star?
Why would they look at the book and then change it if they didn't think that the age gap in the book was kind of creepy?
There's
right?
also there's a notion now because all throughout previous generations it was about men being older and the women being younger. Now there's a notion of empowerment around women dating younger men that's prevalent in Hollywood.
But it's because they believe it's predatory, right? It's like we can be disgusting predators now.
too.
Like it's like
No, see,
it's-
I don't think they see it that way. I think they see it as empowering because they think of
women.
it. Yeah, they see it as empowering for women because one, the physical. They're not at physical risk in the same way that like men are not at physical risk in the same way that women are,
Yeah.
and they just see it as an empowering act rather than something that's actually.
Wait, what do you mean by physical risk? Well, like pregnancy?
No. What I'm saying is like so. An older man, like a younger man, like an older woman in a younger man, or an older man and a younger woman. Like a man is always the physical threat to them, right? But like a woman is not. Like a man is not at physical risk by dating an older woman. The way that a younger woman might be at physical risk.
Well, that would
dating
mean
an
that
older
a woman is always
Yes.
taking a physical risk by
I'm just
dating
saying
a man.
that there's a
because-
notion to it that it's not seen as predatory. Whether
feel
it's
like
because
it
we don't
still
hold
is.
because we
Okay.
don't hold women to the same standard of taking responsibility for their own actions as men.
Okay, so you as a 24-year-old said like you would only date up to probably 35, right?
Yeah.
But
On the
I
high
think
end.
like the on the high end, and I think the reason why it's becoming such a contentious issue is because Gen Z is particularly weird about age gaps to the
Yeah.
point where they would think you're being groomed if you as a 24-year-old dated a 35-year-old man. They would think that you are a victim in that situation.
They will never
which
see
is
the man-
patently ridiculous.
No, it's crazy. And I agree with you. I think that we've normalized you have to date within like the first like 3 to 4 years of however old you are, because if you're dating someone too older, it is predatory.
Yeah.
Because it has
This
become
is the
normal.
same reason
Yeah.
that when female teachers abuse students, it's called sexual misconduct, and when men do it, it's rape.
Yeah.
Well, also, like, even if you dated 72-year-old Bill Belichick, although this would
Absolutely
never
not.
happen, I know this would never happen, but if you did, I just still wouldn't think of you as a victim in that situation.
Well, I feel like I think it's more in that
Because you're
situation,
24.
It's in the vast age gap. I do feel like it's more the woman taking advantage of the man. Because it's like, is she actually going to marry him? Is she actually going to like have his kid?
Does the man actually want that?
Like, does he want that? What is she? She
So
is
you
being
think that-
provided fame and money, I guess, and access. But then what do her friends think about? Like, that's what I could not understand.
Do you think he
It's like
wants?
the
I don't think he wants
secondhand
kids.
embarrassment.
I don't think he wants kids. I think he wants to just have sex up until the day he dies.
We got a 20 from Nate. He said, that's wild. Age gaps are cool for women for the exact same reason. They're gross for dudes. The lady is getting hers. The guy is a creep. Awesome.
So television for the last 20 years has been pushing the narrative that that women like younger men because as women mature, they hit their sexual peak later in life, and they're more self-assured, they're more confident, thus less easy to take advantage of. But that's because we operate under the premise that I guess that women mature later than men, which is weird because I've been told my whole life that women mature faster than men, and women.
Okay, let's just be honest. The vast majority of old men don't have access to hot chicks in their
Correct.
20s.
Fact.
The vast majority of older women also don't have access to hot dudes in their 20s because you have to have something else that's on offer, like money. And I just wanted to show this TikTok of a girl in her 20s explaining why she thinks even 10-year age gaps are creepy and gross. It makes her ew. It gives her the ick. It's called PSA for young women dating older guys.
It's in the second one. This one here.
Yep.
Here we go.
I'm going to do a PSA to young women. If you think that you are dating a hot, sexy, older man who makes his own money and has it together and he's 32 and you're 21, let me tell you fucking something. You think that you're smart, and I'm sure you are, baby girl, but you're not smart enough. And you will look back when you're 28 and you will say, ew. What was I doing? And you will say, if I knew a man this age dating a girl that young, I would slap him back and forth. And I hate to break it to you because I've done it and she's done it. And I heard women tell me the same thing and I rolled my eyes, but I'm going to tell you now. And you roll your eyes all you want. You're going to look back and you're going to say, ew.
Well, thank you.
It was a very strongly worded message, but she's talking about an 11-year age gap between a 21-year-old girl and a 32-year-old guy.
I don't think that's predatory. This might sound like super trad of me, but like I think that women are starting to realize like, oh, I do want to, get married, have some kids, be a mom. Yeah, I can have a career on the side and do something. But if you are wanting a lifestyle and wanting a man to provide for you, if you want to actually be able to afford a house in this economy and live a nice life, you don't have to chase after, okay, I'm going to work for 5-6 years and then what, you're going to be 28 and single and miserable, and who are you going to date then? Because all the 30, 31, 32 and older are already married because they found their matches.
So now the men are like, I want a house too, so I'm going to marry this divorced woman who's got some money because she's got her career.
No!
Yeah.
It's because of the recession. It's like age gaps are going to get more prevalent because people just need to use each other for survival.
Transactional relationships.
Look, it's not, I quote tweeted this actually because I felt like everyone was miscommunicating and thinking that this is about some kind of sexual jealousy. And in a lot of cases, that is where it comes from. But I think the main reason why women would look at an age gap relationship of any sort and think, ew, especially if that woman is herself in her early 20s, it's probably because those relationships are inherently transactional. It's basically glorified prostitution where Jordan Hudson is with Bill Belichick for his money and Bill Belichick is with Jordan Hudson for sex. And that is just glorified prostitution. That's the reason why you look at a relationship like that and go, ew. Not because it's some kind of victimization or she's being groomed or whatever. It's not like that. It's because people think relationships should have meaning. Even if they don't admit it to themselves or publicly admit that, people know that, relationships should be about more than a transaction of goods and services. Right?
Right.
I think that's really what people are, it's like going over people's heads.
But the 10-year age gap, I don't think is transactional in that case, though.
Well, yeah, in that case, like a 21-year-old and a 32-year-old, okay, maybe in some situations that would be a transactional relationship, but in a lot of other situations, it's not.
Well, think about also like male maturity. Like guys just mature later in life than women. So I feel like there could be some very decent
Which shouldn't be the case.
Well, then why?
It should not take a man until age 32 to be an adult.
I agree.
But unfortunately, that is the reality of things right now.
So why is it then that we're so much more hesitant when the woman is younger if women mature faster than men?
Well, I think I'm not hesitant if the woman's
I'm saying,
younger.
but like,
we as in
the
smaller
general
age
notion
gaps.
is that when the guy is older and the woman is younger, that there's more hesitancy towards relationships like that because, like you
Right.
said, you put your you kind of hit the nail on the head when you said that they can't really explain why they find it gross because it's you think that's because relationships should be more. But I think the general notion is people just say ew, and they say, well, the girl is younger, he must be taking advantage of her. But if we're operating under the premise that women mature faster than men, then a 24-year-old is perfectly capable of making her own choices. But nobody says that about a 24-year-old dude being with an older woman. It'll never be seen that way. And that's kind of, to my point about the physical risk of it, is that the man is putting himself in less danger there. But is the 24-year-old male not every bit as capable of making decisions about who he sleeps with as a woman at 24 if women mature faster
Of course,
than men?
I don't think anyone truly believes that a 24-year-old is being groomed by anybody.
Oh, I believe that people all over Twitter
They're
absolutely
telling, I think
believe
they're
that.
telling
they
themselves
think they
that, but they do not genuinely believe that.
I think it's probably
It's a
closer
mimetic.
to. I think it's probably closer to they think they believe that they believe that, but what your explanation about relationships needing to mean more is probably actually the more thought out, concrete example of what that actual thought process would be.
Because the bigger the age gap, the bigger the problem. Like 10 years, I feel like is max. Like that's an acceptable age gap. But the older you get, like I said, like 40 to 60, like okay, it's that's a pretty big gap, but it's more acceptable.
It obviously depends on the people as well, which is going over everyone's heads as well. I just think people they don't have a vocabulary to describe what a relationship should even be. And like the idea that dating has a purpose is totally lost on our culture now because it's all about having fun. And when you say it's all about having fun, what you really mean by that, like underneath those words, it's really about using people.
Buy
And
her a house,
women are using men for money. They see them as walking wallets, and men are using women for sex. They see them as walking fleshlights. And everyone is dissatisfied with what's going on here, but they would have to admit to themselves that dating should be about more than having fun. And no one is willing to do that because they want to keep on using and discarding other human beings like their commodities.
Buy her a house, Bill. Buy her a house and get her.
Buy
and
Jordan a house.
Put a ring on her finger and buy her a house and have all the sex you want up until the day you die, so you can pretend it meant something.
That's what I tweeted today. I said, like, if a guy can't plan a date, what makes you think he can plan the future with you? Because it's so normalized now in culture, is like hookup culture, sleep with whoever you want. Absolutely, with the feminist movement having zero like expectations, like you can just do whatever you want with no consequences. And I think that that's been the downfall of relationships, that's why no one's getting married anymore.
All right, let's go to super chats.
All right, Kellen L said, Mary, I remembered the word from yesterday, code switch.
Wait, so
I don't even remember what our conversation was about.
who is that from?
It was from Kellen. We were talking about Gen Z brainrot slang, which we'll get into later.
We'll get into that.
Code switching. Yeah, I've definitely heard that, but it's more about racial stuff, right? Like, it started because black people would say like, oh, when I take business calls, I pretend to have a white accent so that people won't discriminate against me. Gordon Shumway said, happy Friday, Bartleby and Mindy. Oh, hi, Morgan.
All the names are wrong. Bartleby is me. Mindy is her. In Morgan, they put with just AN. So
I don't want to share the same name as Mindy Kaling. No, thank you. Pop Culture Junkie said, hi, Mary. Take it easy this weekend and get well. Believe I will.
And there, let's do two more.
DCNC said, Bready Boyne Bags. Ozempic drug sharing parties is the plot of the South Park treatment. Randy Marsh gets the wrong idea.
Yeah.
I didn't end up watching that.
The South Park Ozempic special.
Okay.
Do one more.
Nate said, sorry to derail, but I like my theory on Grande more. Missed you all. Yeah, she's just a closet cannibal, obviously.
You never know. All right, let's move on then. Time to talk about all that brain rot you were just discussing.
We need to talk about Gen Z brain rot. This is the new lexicon of Gen Z. And basically, if you already know the term brain rot, if you know what it is, you already have it. And this came up in a piece in the New York Times where there were a bunch of examples of people who are describing brain rot as basically the new language for Gen Z. It's what they use to communicate with each other. And it's sort of like gatekeeping other generations from participating in a certain conversation. But like some examples, Grimace Shake, Rizzler, or Riz turned into Rizzler. Mogging, mewing, edging, gooning, glazing. I could go on.
Mary has brain rot.
I have brain rot. And as we were saying before the show started,
Don't talk
we
to
have
your
brain
parents
rot.
about gooning or edging, guys.
Definitely not.
Don't do that.
But we have brain rot because our job entails being chronically online, as does yours.
Yep.
So all three of us are here having brain rot, and we didn't even know it.
I think anyone who is online at this point just has brain rot because we are so consumed. It's like that video we just watched. Like, she has the epitome of brain rot because her entire vocabulary is not even English. That's what it's turned into.
If you or someone you love speaks almost exclusively in internet references, they may be suffering from a condition known as brain rot. The term refers primarily to low-value internet content and the effects caused by spending too much time consuming it. Example, I've been watching so many TikToks, I have brain rot. Online discussion of brain rot has recently grown so widespread that some social media users have begun creating parodies of people who seem to embody the condition. Which brings me to our video today, which is a brain rot ranking video. They rank all of the brain rot terms.
I love this. This is like I have no idea why it's like this, but The Rock is in the worst aspect ratio.
No, that's the point. That's the brain rot.
It's the best part of this. So here, let's go ahead and watch this, guys.
Hello, guys. Today I have made a list of the top 10 biggest brain rot words. Let's not wait any longer. Here is my number 10. At number 10, I have Grimace Shake. This word is not funny. At number 9, I have Kitten Please Just Shut the Hell Up. At number 8, I have Phantom Tax Bro How Is This Even Funny? At number 7, I have Ohio It's Not 2022 Anymore Grow Up. At number 6, I have Edge. This word is straight up boring. At number 5, I have Kai Cenat. Why is he even here? At number 4, I have Sigma Stop Me Trying Andrew Tate. At number 3, I have Skibbity. You were born after 2012. At number 2, I have Guyot. I hope your pillow is warm. At number 1, I have Riz. You will never get a girlfriend.
Okay.
Subscribe.
$20 super chat there from, do you got that one?
Bender the Offender said Gen Z just loves to rot max. That's another one. If you say I'm blank maxing. But you know what's funny about this is I've heard all of these terms for a couple of years now at least.
They've come back.
And now they're coming back, but in a parody of themselves, which is the most Gen Z thing ever. Is like Gen Z is kind of using these terms to make fun of how stupid they are and how little their slang terms actually hold meaning. But here are some more examples. Okay, Skibbity, Giat, Riz or Rizzler, Goon, Edge, Beta, Sigma, Alpha, etc. Ratio plus L, Sus, Among Us, Ohio, Phantom Tax, mewing, maxing.
We should have had Serge on with us today.
He literally speaks in brain rot language despite being a millennial. Livy Dunn, any mention of Livy Dunn. Baby Gronk.
I had to explain Livy Dunn and Baby Gronk to someone recently, and even then.
Can you do it for us now?
No, I can't.
Like live on air?
I can't. Like there's whole channels dedicated to following social media interactions between Livy Dunn and Baby Gronk, and if you watched it, you're like, you would think that the world is imploding.
Another one is Bro Thinks He's Cardi, Hitting the Gritty. Any mention of Kai Cenat.
Somebody says,
Phantom Tax.
Somebody says, what is a Livy Dunn?
We've talked about Livy Dunn on the show before.
She's a gymnast.
She's a gymnast. She's blonde. She's very pretty. And
she's so famous she doesn't have to go to the Olympics. She's dating a pro baseball player now.
Yeah, everyone loves Livy Dunn.
There was
very famous.
they interviewed. I don't remember the player's name though, but they interviewed this this kid who was like, "What do you love about this guy, this new pitcher?" And he's like, his mustache and the fact that he's dating Livy Dunn.
We have some more Giga Chad, Based, Cringe. Those have been around forever. Kino, Red Pilled, No Nut November.
I mean, those aren't
looks maxing.
We're getting into millennial territory.
What's Slay? I think Slay.
Okay, so this is what showed up to me as bifurcation. Like, there's female brain rot, which is like, I'm a tomato girl. And then there's male brain rot, which is like
The Sigma.
Yeah, like Sigma grind set memes and like Peaky Blinders and like Zin and stuff like that.
But even the Peaky Blinders stuff kind of dovetails into like boomer memes, like boomer uncle.
This is how it migrates, right? And that's why finally the boomers who work at the New York Crimes are writing about brain rot because they just found out about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Or like it's giving something or other. Hot girl summer, hot girl walks.
It's like that. There was that like voice, like that voiceover that went viral for a long time about the guy pretending to be giving like or going to therapy. It's like when you go to your Gen Z therapist, it's like, how are the vibes? Low key, off. And how is your Riz?
I think people are actually talking like this. Like, I mean, I said that earlier, but like, this has become the Gen Z normal. It's not even just brain rot anymore. It is just the new Gen Z vocabulary. I saw a TikTok the other day of this girl going in for a job interview. And she's like, yeah, like I have Riz and this is like what I do. It was like a total parody of it. But that's like the new thing is Gen Z is parodying themselves, but they're actually doing it unironically in real life.
Right. Like it's a joke, but at the same time, it's your life.
Or have you seen the people that either asking for PTO from their jobs and the millennials be like, my Gen Z employee just asked for PTO and this is what he said. And it's like all in brain rot terms.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not a good sign. And now it's getting to the point where brain rot is in itself a meme, but it's starting to be recognized as an actual medical condition. There is a growing recognition of a disorder that researchers at Boston Children's Hospital have called problematic interactive media use. This pediatrician founded a digital wellness lab for Gen Z. He said that his patients refer to brain rot as a way of describing what happens when you spend a lot of your time online, have shifted your awareness over to online space as opposed to in real life, and are filtering everything through the lens of what has been posted or what can be posted. And many of his patients seem to consider having brain rot a badge of honor.
Do you remember that that clip from like 10 years ago about the guy who went viral? It was like on Dr. Phil, and they're like, why don't you talk to your families like they have no followers online? He's like, why would I spend time with them? They're irrelevant. And he's like, because they're your family. He's like, they don't matter.
But that's what happens when you're chronically online is you think that everything in the digital aura is real. And it's like, in the reality, it's all not real.
There's a $20 there from Gordon Shumway.
That Gen Z brain rot speech is the equivalent to Durga Muhammad Jihad Hapas Sherpa Bakala. What?
There's also like, look, it's not like other generations didn't have plenty of slang. It's just the internet has really kickstarted that to make it its own language.
Okay, give me the millennial slang. Remind me.
It reminds me of the scene in the Disney movie Brink where like he talks to his dad. He goes, "What up?" He goes, "English, dad up." You know, your parents forever not knowing what you're saying that's not new to any specific generation.
But I feel like it's way worse now. Like the generation now just cognitively isn't there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what was millennial slang though? Like calling things dope?
I mean, I guess
on fleek.
That would be millennial, and that would be millennial online too. Like, see, as somebody who skated, your actual brain filters through. You know, before the internet, your brain probably shifted slang through subcultures. Not that were unique to sports you did or activities you did, things like that.
Like pre-technology, because millennials, it was like the Tumblr era.
Yeah. At the same time, like it's cool that people can come up with entirely new words like chuggy and add that into the English language. Like that's creative. Yeah. And it has a real meaning and it is useful. However, when it gets to this point, I don't think Gen Z realizes that it's a problem because they're so deep in the irony poisoning that like everything is a joke and you can't stage an intervention on them. They're just going to think that it's a joke.
That is the difference. Is back in the day, everything was done through the lens of actual meaningful social interaction. Nobody's willing to do that anymore.
That doesn't exist anymore.
Everything has to, because it's too much risk. It's too much risk to put yourself out there like that. So everything has to be mildly ironic, just in case. It's kind of like I would say my favorite quote is, everything I say is a joke unless you agree.
Well, people are too scared of consequences now, so they just speak in brain rot, and then if it's like funny and ironic, then it's fine.
There's a 20.
From Jason Hextra, he said, speaking of brain rot, would you support schools banning smartphones? I think that devil California governor is about to pass something similar.
They are.
Is that going to be like the first good thing he's ever done?
So it's in LA County. They want to restrict all phones. You can't have your phone at school. And I saw that the Attorney General or there's somebody up in the government, they want to add social media health warning labels to all platforms, which I'm like, that's interesting. Banning phones during school, I'm like, I mean, maybe they'll learn something, but also going to public school is also just predictive.
But isn't that
brain rot?
that sounds like the bare minimum to me, because I know that I grew up relatively sheltered and this was just the norm for me. Like it was always understood, every school I ever attended, that you would get in serious trouble if you had your phone out anywhere. They were mandatory. They have to be turned off and in your locker for all school hours. You could not have them in the classroom. They certainly couldn't be on even in the middle of a free period. Nothing.
Really?
Nothing.
See, I had my phone out all through like middle school and high school. Like they'd be like, put your phone away. But
there's no rule that actually like means you have to.
I think there was like a rule, but no one paid attention. This is like public high school in California. And now it's got to the point though where teachers are policing their students on phone usage, but there's no way to control it when you've got 30 kids all scrolling on TikTok with an AirPod in with their hair covering. Like there's nothing these teachers can do.
Every job I've ever had, I would get in trouble for wearing headphones at work. It's so funny how now it's like, see, back in my day, you had to hide the cord underneath your shirt and then, you know, make sure that people couldn't see that you were wearing it. Now everyone just has an AirPod in one ear.
Yeah,
that's it.
It's a golden age to wear headphones everywhere you go, guys.
I actually think it's a good thing. The phones
that sounds
shouldn't
great
be in class.
That sounds like a great idea.
Maybe they'll suffer from
there was
less
like
brain rot.
that one high school that staged a walkout
all the
over
students
it
left.
because they implemented that rule. But
No
look,
way.
you can't keep that up forever.
Look, I
right?
was reliably told when I was young that I wasn't going to carry a calculator around in my pocket everywhere I go, so I needed to learn math. That was proven wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So.
It's the social justice generation. If they do enough walkouts, then it will go their way.
It's sad. It's so sad. Like if you think
They need
it's
the
over for
phones.
Gen Z, it's going to be so much worse for Gen Alpha.
Maybe Gen Alpha will push past general irony and like irony and sarcasm into something new.
Plot
Are they gonna be
twist,
sincere?
maybe Gen Alpha will actually be like the comeback traditional generation because they'll see how effed up their parents are.
Generation sincere.
I don't
Generation sincere.
But if you were raised by Coco Melon, if you were raised by
That's baby brain
an
rot.
iPad, that is Gen Alpha though. Like they were
I know.
literally
It's
anyone born after 2012 was born in the age of the iPad.
Oh, wait, Gen Alpha's 2012. Oh, yeah. Wait, they're screwed.
Yeah, it's literally over for them. They are to speak in brain rot language, they're cooked.
They're cooked.
It's
The
I don't
iPad
know if they can come
kids.
back from that, because if you've been so profoundly cognitively handicapped
It's from birth.
They're gonna be learning the ABCs, like M is for mewing,
it's like Z is for Zoomer.
R is for Rizzing.
F is for famine.
No, there
tax.
actually was an author who was recently on the Red Scare podcast talking about her book. And in that book, she included an essay that's basically a glossary or like a dictionary of like Gen Z brain rot terms. And it was called Z was for Zoomer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually like what they're going to raise these children on.
I do worry about them because like the cognitive just isn't there currently. I've watched Coco Melon.
What we should do is we should make all of
horrible.
these kids in Gen Z spell these words in cursive.
If only they could learn cursive.
It would
If only
be-
they knew what cursive
It would be
was.
amazing, right?
I mean, maybe like the homeschooling generation could fix this, but at the same time, I see this trend of unschooling going on now. Have you seen this? Free schooling and unschooling?
No, is it separate from homeschooling?
It falls under the umbrella of homeschooling, but essentially what it means is not teaching your children any curriculum whatsoever, and you let them lead their own
okay,
curiosity.
your kid's just gonna be stupid.
And this lady who does free schooling with her kid was like, guys, don't worry. If you're doing unschooling and you're worried that your kid isn't going to learn how to write or read fast enough like the other kids, he'll be curious enough eventually. Look at my 6-year-old's journal, and it has like literally just like primitively written letters. at 6 years old. Okay, so if you let your kid lead their own education journey, just whatever they're curious about, and you're supposed to just trust them to want to learn on their own.
Yeah, no, that kid's gonna be screwed for his future. Like you gotta have, to an extent, some education.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Nuts.
All right, let's go super chats.
Okay, DCNC said Mary Morgonn regarding raw dogging equals no entertainment, only flight map, no water, and no flight map equals barebacking.
No way!
I don't want them to start barebacking on flights. No. Corey Anderson, I'm not reading that. Omega Red Fan said Jared Leto went from Fight Club to Mind Freak.
Jared Leto is just kind of, yeah, I mean.
He fell off.
30 Seconds to Mars, really?
DCNC said first person to move after this super chat is gay. You moved. Brez gay.
Got me.
Okay.
Stefan Buttle said Cat Williams talked about these dark rituals. Yeah, Dave Chappelle also talked about weird, humiliation rituals on men in Hollywood.
Do two more.
Corey Anderson said Taylor Swift dwells too much on past relationships. I curse her to never have her happily ever after.
No, I think she's gonna get married to Travis Kelce.
I mean,
Okay, then let me ask you this question. She gets married to Travis Kelce, but then still has to continue to perform the songs that are very clearly about exes. Isn't that kind of like living in the past?
She's got like 3 songs on Tortured Poets, her new one about Travis Kelce. Also, she doesn't just write music about hating her exes.
But
like,
a lot of those songs
love
are very
stories.
popular, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
But at that point, it's a job. Like, I don't know. I don't think
it
it's
is
a
part of the
problem.
job.
Like, you gotta perform the songs.
No. Porn stars get married too, and sex is part of the job.
I think she has more disdain for her business rivals than her ex-boyfriends.
Like, you got the Scooter
to a
Braun
psychotic
beef,
level.
You got the Kim Kardashian beef.
Yeah.
Let's do 2 more.
DB Hart said, sending my first super chat your way. Listen to PCC regularly on the background while I work. Good to see Morgan on the show. Hope you're enjoying being away from this 100+ degree desert.
I very much am enjoying the East Coast right now.
And as I always say, there's nothing I love hearing more than people who love to put us on in the background and just listen to us while they do other stuff. It is the biggest compliment.
Thank you for your first super chat.
Let us into your homes and let us be part of your time.
Okay, that's a little bit creepy.
Or into your work life or whatever it is. One more.
Nate said, I just noticed Brett put on a blue shirt. That's not normal, right? Looks good, man.
It's a green shirt.
Green.
I actually
It's
spilled
green.
on the shirt I was wearing earlier.
Oh, that's why you're wearing this.
I had to change.
Kellen L said, Sisson went on Piers Morgan today and continued the grift.
I love it. Let him do it.
That's
hilarious.
crazy.
Look, if you want to
watch
take civic responsibility to the farthest extent, it is your job to not be an idiot to know that he is lying. Right? So I can laugh at the absolute gall of his tweets without, feeling too bad for the people who get taken by it.
I just don't know how he does it, unironically, and can go on a show like Piers Morgan, uncensored, and just actually just spew garbage.
I'm very laissez-faire when it comes to political stupidity. Let it happen. If you fall for it, it's your business.
Grifter's gonna grift.
Let's hold off on the rest and let's come back. Time to talk about raw dogging on planes. Don't leave. It's not what you think.
It's not what you think. Okay, so we are actually kind of late on talking about this bizarre new travel trend, but this says men are, quote, raw dogging it on flights. Here's what this weird trend means. I will summarize it for you. Raw dogging a flight means that you get on this flight, regardless of how long it is, and you don't allow yourself to have any books, your phone, no movies, and no water. No entertainment whatsoever, no distractions. You just sit in silence alone with your thoughts, and the only thing that you can look at is the flight map on the screen in front of you.
Look, every time I raw dog on a plane, I end up in TSA custody, so I don't know.
I think you got the wrong idea about raw dogging flights.
Look,
Brett.
I will say this. This would never be me. I will pay the $10 especially for a long flight. Yes.
You said you paid $30 for the Wi-Fi ones, right?
No. 10.
Okay.
It's 10.
Okay.
Like, if it's a 6-hour flight, yes. I'm not gonna.
yeah.
Otherwise, I listen to podcasts while on planes.
Or like sleep. Like you can't even sleep. You have
No,
to
you
be
can't
wide
sleep.
awake, staring. Well, what about the planes that don't even have the flight map? So you can't even watch your time go down. This is giving like serial killer energy.
You think?
Like there's no way that a grown man could just. Also, like girls can replay conversations in our head and like have more. I feel like guys don't do that. Like a guy just sitting on a plane staring, no phone out. Like no, that's weird.
It's a red flag.
That's a red flag. That's like
Let's listen
really
to the experts. According to experts, men are more likely to enjoy raw dogging flights than women. Psychologist Danielle Haig suggests that men may find it appealing because it allows them to tap into their mental strength and endurance. Some individuals claim that raw dogging flights helps them feel stronger and more focused. It's like stoicism.
It's very much like like stoicism in practice, or somebody who, for men, I guess it's like a mental workout.
Can you close your eyes? Like if you're on a flight, can you at least like close your eyes, or do you have to keep them open? Because I could see if you had to close your eyes, it's like a mindfulness, like pray or something.
There might be safety risks. This says it's essential to note that raw dogging flights are not a recommended or safe way to fly. Long-haul flights can be mentally and physically demanding, and flying without distractions can lead to fatigue, anxiety, and mental health issues. It's crucial to prioritize your well-being and take necessary measures to stay comfortable and entertained during flights. That sounds like the medical-industrial complex.
Think about this in this context. This is exactly why solitary confinement in prison is so dangerous, right?
It's true.
It drives you nuts.
Because it's so psychologically.
But this is worse.
This is worse. Like
Because you're surrounded by people.
I guess solitary confinement also like eliminates passage of time.
Well, also in solitary, don't you get books at least? Like you're in this. Like
yeah, do you?
9 by 9 block, you get nothing.
Not if you're
We'll have to ask
if you're in
Assange
solitary
to
if you're
tell
in
us.
solitary confinement because you did something wrong. No,
You get absolutely nothing.
Right,
It's just a concrete.
So men are filming themselves on TikTok raw dogging flights, and we can take a look at a few of these examples.
Maybe this is what happened to Tiffany Gomez. Maybe she was raw dogging flights and then started seeing shit.
Maybe I'll raw dog my flight in the morning.
There you go.
I'm gonna try it out.
Which video are we gonna
I'll
watch?
live
It's
stream.
the one from Hard Factor News.
Okay, the first one here. All right, here, let's watch this video.
Raw dogging is a new trend where when you're on a flight and you just sit there and you don't do a goddamn thing except for stare at the maps, the little thing that tells you how far along you are on the flight in front of you. You don't listen to music, you don't drink water, you don't eat the snacks, you don't get on your computer, you just sit there and raw dog it the whole way.
Whoa.
So this guy says, just raw dogged a 7-hour flight, new personal best.
Yeah,
No
see,
headphones.
men turned it into a competition for themselves. I can see this now. I see it.
Phones, no water, nothing. Looking at the flight map.
How angry he is.
This is the worst.
And then
Who's gonna be the one like I turn the air off above me?
This guy is an Australian musician. 15 hours, just staring staring ahead.
15 hours.
Are you allowed to go pee, Wes?
Okay, so here's the thing: is in raw dogging you can go pee, but there's an even more extreme form of raw dogging, which is called barebacking. You wear your seatbelt the entire time. You don't go pee. No music. Nothing. You can't even look at the map. You just look at a blank
Oh,
screen.
dude, if you're gonna go raw dog, you might as well go bareback.
Oh, it's gonna get crazy if it catches on. People are gonna just be a fucking flight of zombies just staring at it. Don't bother me. I'm raw dogging.
Yeah, raw dog in progress.
What if you got a whole flight worth and you just got everyone to raw dog it the entire
Dude, it'd be
flight?
so freaky.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. It's not a flight full of zombies if they're raw dogging the flight. A flight full of zombies is a bunch of people looking at a screen.
I imagine of all of these men, half of them are spending it imagining what they would do if there was a terrorist on board too.
I feel like this is like an alpha, like Giga
Yeah,
Chad
it
thing,
is.
competing with themselves. Like I'm gonna raw dog this flight,
It
and
is.
let's see how long I can do it.
It's like when your dad takes you on a road trip and says no bathroom breaks. We're not stopping for this long.
Yeah, but like 7 to 15 hours.
You're like
15 hours.
Like
is
that's like an
actually
international
crazy.
flight. That's crazy.
it's.
And also, by the way, if you're filming yourself on your phone raw dogging the flight, you're not raw dogging the flight because you're using
Maybe
your
it's
phone.
when they landed.
Maybe. But
It's just like it's
How long do you
imagine-
think you would last?
me,
Yeah. If you just sat on the plane, can you talk to anybody? You can't
No.
talk. It's just you
No
and
talking.
there. and
That's even
yourself.
better. Like people are talking to you and you have an excuse to be like,
You just don't answer.
you hold up a little card that says, sorry, raw dogging flight.
Like the issue for me was that I would probably start nodding off.
I think I would fall asleep.
But let's say 8 hours.
8 hours? I don't think I could do it.
If my life depended on it, I
Okay, if my
definitely
life
wouldn't.
depended on it.
I wouldn't decide to do this by choice, but I kind of understand why men are doing this because there's so little adversity today in our society. Everything is so comfortable. Everything is so easy. They want to impose a challenge on themselves.
It's like a trend challenge.
Plenty of men work to test their physical strength all the time. Tests of your men. Like, you know who would be great at this? David Goggins. David Goggins would just sit there the whole flight and just raw dog it, just like when he runs 30 miles a day and shit like that. It's totally and again, like I feel like this is an evolution of like people from my dad's generation who's like, I never took any sick days. I went to work every day. And then at the end of the year, all the men would compare who had used the least of their sick time at work. It's a sign of masculinity.
Raw dogging life.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just men who do this, actually. I did find a TikTok of someone's mom raw dogging a flight. They said, my mom's beige flag is that she raw dogs every flight, no matter how long. This is her on a 9-hour flight. No iPad, no headphones, no book. At least she's comfy.
Yeah.
Go, girl. Like,
She's just
total silence. Just looking at the map.
In her zone.
Not a thought in the world. I thought, like maybe the reason men can excel at this is because they say they have the ability to think about nothing.
Well, that's what I was saying is like girls will always think about everything at all times, every part of the day. But guys, I feel like could just tune it out. It's just such a boy brain thing. And
I still don't know if I believe it. Like, is that true?
I mean, it depends.
Can men
you just,
really
turn
think
off
about
your
nothing?
thoughts?
I can sleep on planes and think about nothing until I fall asleep, but then I wake up and I'm back to normal. But in general, no, I'm an overthinker for the most part. So
I don't know. I hear that guys can just like kind of tune it out and sometimes just.
Men say that they are capable of just turning their brains off.
I could never.
But like, I don't know if I believe it's possible.
I do think that like the mom that was doing it, it would be easier for someone in an older generation because it's not like they've had a phone or a laptop or something their whole life.
Yeah.
Like doing it without a book, I could understand. But like if I was a 60-year-old woman, I will say the other day I was flying, it was a 4.5-hour flight, and the man next to me raw dogged his whole flight. He was like a 60-year-old man. He had a little phone that still had an iPhone with a button on it still. And
I miss buttons on
he just
phones.
sat there. And then he like would start talking to me for a little bit, but I was watching a movie. So for like most of the flight, he was just entertained and looking at nothing. So I do think it could be a generational thing. I mean, no, it's all like the younger guys now, but I think older people would have an easier time doing this.
I imagine that if you like wean yourself off the phone and wean yourself off technology, it would get easier.
Oh yeah.
Well, this is like silent walking.
Yeah.
Like this generation needs to wean themselves off of distractions in controlled doses. Like silent walking is literally just going on a walk. I know everyone made fun of these girls for saying like, I'm going on a silent girl walk, but they were trying to do something that is actually good for their mental health. That should be celebrated.
From sun up to sundown, how much of our lives are consumed by technology? Like 99%, because you go on a walk, same podcast, you're listening to music, you're checking.
Even that, like, so, like, I've, since doing this job, I've, like, eliminated podcasts from I listen to music, and even then, I don't even listen to it at, like, a loud volume. It's just kind of playing in the background. So in that point, what is my brain thinking about? I have no clue.
Well, whatever it is, you're not going to remember what you were thinking about.
I won't. Like, so, like, on a plane, I could listen to music at low volume where I don't even know that it's there and think about nothing.
But does that make you an NPC because you don't have an internal
No, I mean,
monologue?
that's not the same thing. I could think about the idea that I'm not thinking about something and have that discussion with myself in my head. That wouldn't fit that criteria.
Maybe this is the new therapy. Gen Z needs to raw dog flights to get rid of the brain rot.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We're just raw dogging life in general.
But we don't suggest that. What you should do is listen to our podcast when you're traveling.
True.
Not raw dog
Actually,
the flight.
we disavow this trend.
We do.
Because you should be listening to PCC when you're traveling.
What better
all
time?
the time. Just constantly.
But what better time than when you're traveling?
Yes, exactly.
Let's do super chats.
Okay, we're going to finish these up. Shane H. Wilder said, all I did was make dank debate memes and shit post. That's the way to do it.
Yep.
He also said, de Krong gives ma de brain root. DC and C said, Boyne Bags, use that Paramount sub for South Park.
I did watch. So I watched the Prime Energy one, and of course I watched the Disney one. I started the Ozempic special, and I never got back to it. I got to.
Was it good?
It was good.
Thank you.
The first 5 minutes is like Cartman's talking to his doctor about Ozempic, and he's imagining all the people he can go up and like insult because he's not fat anymore.
South Park is the only, honestly, cartoon that is getting humor right.
Yeah.
If in my opinion.
Definitely not.
I don't care for it.
Definitely
Really?
not. What was the one? The New Norm.
New Norm. Did you talk
Did
about
you see that?
saw
We talked
it.
about that a couple of days ago.
I think it's cringe.
I mean, yeah.
It's way too cringe. It's like the only people that are going to watch this are people that are super hyper in the echo chamber and like think it's funny.
But some people said it was going over our heads, and it was actually an ironic parody of conservative humor.
So it's like the Gen Zs making fun of themselves. Like I don't get it.
Honestly, if that's what it was, that would be amazing.
I would love to know the truth, but for now I'm going to assume
So
they were trying to
conservatives
be
making fun
sincere.
of themselves, and
It might be that. I'm going to
I feel like that's a cover up.
Yeah.
Okay, but what do you think about then Dr. Bircham? I didn't watch when you were.
Yeah, Mr. Bersham. We
Mr.
did a
Bersham.
review of it. We went to the premiere. I mean, we were lukewarm, basically. I think
I
that
watched
there
the
were
first episode.
too many moments of it being on the nose.
I have the same critique of everything the Daily Wire has done, which is that when they get away from the boomer Facebook humor, it finds some sort of rhythm, but they never stay there for long enough. Then they eventually have to go back to some joke that has to do with lol, pink hair.
Well, that's why I think that South Park does it right, because it is more just mainstream and they can actually talk about humor and things.
Well, there are left-wing people who write the show. You can tell that.
But they're even making fun of like left-wing issues too.
Right,
which is
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
it's just like, it's not just the jokes, though. It was some of the sincere moments in the show that were too on the nose as well.
I could see that.
Like what I think that they need is they need an editor who's willing to be harsh with the dialogue. Well, look, I get that this made you laugh. Is it funny in the context of this scene?
Yeah.
Right? Like, so the stuff in, like, for instance, in Lady Ballers, when they were making the jokes at the beginning, which is all the stuff about him, like, all of the things going on around him, that the world has changed so much, that's not funny to me.
Right.
But when they got into the sincerity between the relationship between him and his kid, that was actually kind of endearing.
Yeah.
And there were some moments of actual humor and sincerity there, but there needs to be harsher editing and more people willing to push back on, like, look, not everything mimetic makes sense as a joke in the real world.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Marco said, guest is wow, heart eyes emoji. Have a great weekend. You too.
You have a great weekend.
Mr. Joker 1128 says Trey Parker and Matt Stone are Republicans. Press X to doubt. I don't.
Wait, what?
I mean, if that's true. I
Wait,
don't know if
what did you say?
He said Trey Parker and Matt Stone are Republicans. They're the ones who created South Park. I don't think that that's true.
I don't know. I've never looked into them.
Maybe old school liberals, but I don't know about that.
Corey Anderson said, is the only reason we wear underwear to protect our clothes from bodily fluids. I can't think of a reason other than that. Mary and Morgan hair looks great. Thank you.
I've never thought
we
about
can just skip that discussion. That's fine.
Stay tuned for Monday's episode of PCC.
PCC underwear special. Kellen L said, half your age plus 7 is the formula for age gaps.
Okay, so yes, that's half your age. Because the thing about half your age plus 7 is as you get older, the age gets older.
Okay, but that would be theoretically my age gap would be 12 plus 7, 19 years. Wait, did I do that right?
No, like
that'd be 21.
Half your age, so 12.
Yes.
Plus 7.
Yeah.
19.
19.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
However, I would still find it
big
weird
gap.
if you were dating a 19-year-old boy, because I would say boy.
Right.
That's weird.
That is
Maybe it's just
weird.
for men in that context, right?
But you're saying a 24-year-old dude and
No, a 24-year-old dude dating a 19-year-old chick, that seems more normal than the other way around.
Oh, wait. That's how old the age gap is. So, like, 24 could date a 19-year-old.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
yeah,
as you
still weird. I wouldn't date a 19-year-old. That's weird.
Right. Yeah, I think the other way around is just much different.
Yeah.
200 Watt Studio said, I knew a 25-year-old girl that was dating a 75-year-old. She was just really into the Korean War stories.
What?
I'm sure she just couldn't get enough of that. Waffle Sensei said, the truth is that women don't ever fully mature because they don't have to. This is why there is no female equivalent word for a man-child.
Is there not a female equivalent word for that?
Well, men are the ones who are, expected to self-actualize, right? But women are essentially like we're designed to be focused on other people.
It's true.
Right? Like men have a mission. You know what I mean? That makes sense?
I guess. I'm trying.
I don't think you think it makes sense.
I'm trying to think of a female equivalent to man-child. What that would be? What would you call the? Actually, yeah. I guess you're right. Like I can't think of like a.
I don't think it exists. Like an immature woman, but it's like it's not the same as like a man-child.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hiroshima Otaru said none of this age gap stuff is new. I don't think we claimed it was new.
Brand new today, first time ever discussed on Pop Culture Crisis: men and women with age gap relationships.
I mean, I think that some of the stigma around it is newer. Cleggy said, we truly, and I can't emphasize this enough, live in a society. So true. 200
off,
Watt
King.
Studio, and I say it all the time. 200 Watt Studio said she wasn't groomed, she was scouted.
Ooh.
Wait, how did he find her?
Well, she was a cheerleader.
She was a cheerleader.
Yeah.
They must have met
Doesn't
naturally.
he also have a history of dating other like very young women?
Probably. Yeah. I mean, he's a 72-year-old bachelor.
Well, he's not getting married at this point, or if he is, he's not starting a family. He's not expecting to have kids. What's the dude supposed to do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Chronicles of Mexico said, stop lying, girls date who they're attracted to. You're passing on Henry Cavill, Jason Momoa because they're past your 35 limit.
Well, I
Is
mean,
that true?
They'd have to give you an example of somebody over that age that you find. Is there like an older celebrity that you find particularly enticing?
Enticing? Ew.
Okay, as a kid, I was obsessed with Patrick Dempsey, okay? Like, Patrick Dempsey.
He was old even then.
Okay,
whatever. He won like Man of the Year, like Sexiest Man of the Year, like recently, and they're like, really?
Okay.
Like, he's still hot. Okay, but it's not like a hard cutoff, but there's got to be. You've got to fit the genre.
There's a genre.
And you have to, as long as you're hitting your marks, there's requirements. You can't just, like, if you're 38 and attractive, it's like, okay, but what else? Like, what makes you so special? Also, why are you 38 and unmarried?
Right. Like, you're
That's
going to
my
need
concern.
more going for you than just being
Hot.
over 35 to attract women.
Right. But honestly, in dating now, it's concerning if there's a guy that is kind of like in that 34 to 38 age range. It's like, why are you still single? Like, you could have been married already.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, the past two guys I've talked to were like 30, but like that's I feel like reasonable.
That's reasonable. Yeah,
to
but
be
when you get
still
up there,
single.
it's like, okay, you probably just have some personality issues.
Right. Why are you extending your bachelor?
Yeah. I do see that as a red flag, actually. And I wouldn't date freaking Henry Cavill or Jason Momoa anyway.
No.
Well, he gave specific examples. He's just he's listing people that generally are considered attractive.
Yeah, sure. There's generally attractive older men, but that doesn't mean I'm going to date them.
Yeah. Tacti Platty said, "Womans be fleshlights that cry." Isn't this guy gay? Sovereign Citizen said Michael Knowles has a video about the history of 20th century acting theory. It's a must-see. Sounds interesting. He's very opinionated about those things. Shane H. Wilder said Mary is spot on with it depends on the people. My parents had a 12-year age gap and were married 46 years. Yeah. I mean, there are normal circumstances and abnormal circumstances. Shane H. Wilder said brain rot is real, no cap, for real, for real. So true.
On God.
So true.
On jaw.
Yes.
Waffle Sensei said, Shane, that super chat is gonna rism with the tism.
Is so true a brain rot term?
I am
So true.
Maybe.
I think it counts.
Yeah.
Just remember, guys, saying quirky things doesn't make you autistic.
Well, I thought that like I started saying so true because Donald Trump would say so true, right?
I've been saying it a lot more, and I'm like, wait, am I saying?
And
this,
like many such
in a-
cases, sad with an exclamation mark at the
I
end.
think that also counts as brain rot. for
Big-
us.
Trump brain rot.
Big
brain
is true.
rot. Yeah. Serenko Productions said, but Slay originated as gay brain rot before women.
Slay.
It's true.
Yeah.
But it circulates, you know?
Oh, millennial women was Yas Queen Slay.
Yeah.
Yas is a very millennial
Yes.
term. Honestly, I'm surprised that Slay has been in use for as long as it has.
And it's like really resurfaced to being super popular lately.
Weird, right?
Yas should come back.
Shane H. Wilder said, just rot maxing waffles. Yeah. Kalegi said, Steve Harvey once said, it's not a gambling addiction if you never lose.
One of my favorite channels that I like, my Instagram accounts, is No One Said This, and it's just really, really awful things being said by AI, by celebrities.
That's been a thing since like they would like pair a photo of
Yeah.
Taylor Swift with a Hitler quote.
And but no, this is like this is AI voices, and
Yeah.
it's
Like
like
deep fakes.
and it's like Elon Musk saying like, you know how we can solve world hunger? Casinos. Because and it's great, and those are, go follow No One Said This on Instagram.
gotta look
It's
that
really
up.
really good.
High Voltage 75 said, if this is how Gen Z speaks, I shudder to think what Gen Alpha will come up with.
It won't matter because you won't know what they're saying.
I think they're just gonna make like grunting noises at each other.
you know what'll
They're
happen?
gonna be
They'll-
nonverbal.
They'll just transition to sign language.
Maybe.
All
They
of it.
might. That's going to be the new trend.
Wait, so who gets to decide in sign language what the hell, how Riz, like what the sign for Riz is?
That's a good question.
How do you use Riz or like other Gen Z slang?
Like, you're
and
not gonna
sign
say-
language?
Or-
I'm sure they're figuring it out
What about
already.
in any other language?
Like,
Yeah.
like do they just spell Mog or like M-O-G?
They must.
Like,
if there's not a
Okay, but if
sign
they
for
can't
it.
hear the context, how are they going to know what you're actually talking about?
Like, who's saying Mew?
In sign language.
Like, is there a sign for Mew?
yeah.
Does somebody know?
I don't
Somebody
know.
let me know.
Any
I just want, like, if we go to another country and like you're trying to say like Riz in French, like what is that?
yeah.
Does it exist, or is
They
this
just
like
say it with an accent.
Riz?
Riz.
I feel like this is so America echo chamber.
Corey Anderson said, best slang saying I'm straight meaning I'm good. Oh yeah, people don't say that anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
Straight.
That's
funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perturbed Alpaca said brain rot equals newspeak. Oh, it's Orwellian now. Tacti Platty said, Brett, listening to you 2 times speed at work on earpiece.
R.I.P. man.
That is scary.
R.I.P.
High Vulture 75 said, if you have a window seat, does staring out the window count as raw dogging? Because I like the
Yes.
view
No.
from way up. No, you can't look at anything
No.
but the flight.
Because that's what I would do. I'm a window seat girl. If I had to raw dog, I would just look out the window. I could do that, I think, for a couple of hours.
Yeah. Just pretend you're in a music video.
Yeah.
Or something. High Voltage 75 said, oh no, Gordon Shumway said, just join the army and go airborne. You'll raw dog on every jump, except you'll have 100 pounds strapped to you. Been there, done that. Okay, bragging much? Shane H. Wilder said, if you're filming it, is it really raw dogging a flight? As someone who likes to go to adoration, I can handle sitting in silence, but on a plane, nope.
What if I live stream me raw dogging a flight? Does that count?
Do you set the?
You
as long
can't
as
look
you
at the
s-
chat.
Like I just set it up there.
Yeah,
Can I
you
look at
can't-
myself?
You should do that.
No, you can't, because that's an external stimuli, right? That's
Looking at
something- Yeah,
myself?
you're looking at a reflection of yourself.
Okay, so I'd have to like set up the camera.
Put it
this
to the
way.
side.
Yes, you'd
Yeah,
have
put
to-
it to
Put
the
it
side.
here.
Yeah.
Okay, stay tuned. Tomorrow I'll live.
I'm so excited. Mick Plugin said, sometimes I sit and think, sometimes I just sit. Hashtag mentality.
There you go.
Is that the mentality?
Can you talk to yourself?
I mean, in your head, yeah, I guess.
Not allowed.
Potatoes for Seamus said, Mary, Tim was right about Taylor Swift. Cringe take.
I agree.
Cringe take. John Barrett said, raw dog, bodog, banana, fana, faux fa dog, fee. What is wrong with you? I just... I don't understand. Nate said best part of Lady Ballers was the badger. Actually true. Oh, that was the funniest.
Whatever happened to that guy?
I wanted the post-credit scene of where he ended up. Shane H. Wilder said, damn it, Corey. High Voltage 75 said, so when I'm 80, I can have a 47-year-old GF? Sweet.
I mean, there are, like I said, Al Pacino is what, 90 gazillion years old, dating like a 29-year-old?
90 gazillion.
And he just produced a child? He's with child now?
That child is gonna be something.
Fatherless.
Yeah.
I mean, not just fatherless,
I
but
mean,
like...
we had an interesting discussion about that, about like, just because you can, should you, like in a world where just because you can financially provide for him after having a child that age, is it fair of you to bring a child in this world knowing that you're not going to live more than a couple more years?
No, I think you're doing the kid a disservice.
Yeah. Sorenko Productions said the animation quality of Mr. Burcham was pretty awful sometimes too. Literally a slideshow of 1 frame per second.
I just...
I didn't really pay super close attention to that.
I just thought that the storyline with the mom and the daughter was more interesting than actually having to hear Mr. Burcham, at the school.
If you go back and watch the Fox pilot, I think you would find it funnier.
Probably.
I feel like they shied away from a little bit of the offensiveness of the original.
But the baseline for what was offensive in 20, what was it? They said 10 years ago.
2011
is very different than what is the baseline for offensive now.
Right.
Like I say, I watch a lot of old television. The amount of stuff I get to see that just would never be made today, not because it was even meant to be offensive, but because it wasn't even considered in the realm of offensive when it was done. Is shocking.
That's the problem with these shows that they're trying to make funny is the comedy's too on the nose, but they're too scared to like push the envelope just a little bit more and maybe offend some people. But honestly, I think that's what Gen Z needs is they're way too soft and they're used to their new normal and they've never been told no in their lives or been told something offensive.
Honestly, it's not just Gen Z. I think it's everybody being too precious. Potatoes for Seamus said, Mary, could you give Taylor Swift a chance? Kellen did. What? Okay, I've given Taylor Swift a chance. I listened to some of her music. Is that not giving her a chance? I don't have to support every decision that she makes in her personal life.
I don't agree with her politics or her cultural things. I don't love her personally, like her personal life stuff all the time.
Like I really like her first album. Or I like most of her older music. Actually, and a little bit of the newer stuff. So
do you hate their relationship?
I haven't like boycotted her. I don't know if I don't hate their relationship. I hate the way that it felt like there was a PR push for the relationship.
That's fair. I'll accept that. That's fair.
Because after the Super Bowl, it was just like radio silence on everything Taylor Swift and everything Travis Kelce.
But then
I did not see anything.
It's come back now.
They're pushing it again, but like it did feel artificial, and it felt like too many people are making too much money off of this.
Yeah, there was a moment where I didn't think the relationship was real. There was a second where I was like, this might be a PR stunt,
and I wouldn't put it past her.
No, it's real.
Yeah. Corey Anderson said, Mary is no fun. Shower thoughts make you think. What?
Like raw dogging your shower? Like, okay, your shower thoughts?
I don't know.
What are you?
I don't know what that means.
Like showering without music or something? I'm confused.
Do you shower while playing music?
No.
I don't think most people do. Rootless Redneck said 35 divided by 2 plus 7, 24 and a half. I'm going to just trust you on that. Well, I guess they're saying that your upper limit is correct.
I guess
half your age plus 7 rule. So your instincts are correct.
So it's instinctual. It just happens. You're like, oh.
It's natural.
And as you get older, the age gap changes because it's less weird.
And that just makes sense.
Yeah. Sorenko Productions said, I think they had to adjust things because Candace was supposed to be one of the recurring characters who now conveniently wasn't present past the pilot.
See, that's the more interesting show would have been just a show about that, but that's never going to get made. So
about what?
About a show about somebody getting fired.
Someone getting fired. Yeah. I mean, I thought that they didn't change the script or anything. They just had someone else voice act.
Yeah,
the same
I don't think that
lines.
would change anything. It's
they just had like a new person do the lines. Potatoes for Seamus said, Brett, what's your social security number and home address again?
Here, just send me a private message and I'll get that information over to you stat.
Promptly.
Make sure you include the CVC code on the card.
And your mother's maiden name.
Always. Yes, and I'll give you my street, not just my street address, but also my first car.
I had a scammer
Your
call
first
me
pet.
literally 2 days ago. A scammer called me, and I love answering the scammer.
She really does.
I love answering the scammers because I like to get in the back and forth with them, and then they like get mad at me for not being gullible. But the person on the phone was like, hello, is this Mary Morgan? I was like, this is she. And they were like, can you confirm blank address for me? And I was like, hold on.
Was it right?
No, it wasn't. I was like, hold on, who are you? And she was like, I can confirm who I am after you confirm who you are. And I was like, well, that doesn't make much sense. And then she was like, got mad at me and hung up. Like, I make them give up. Because I want to
do this.
Because these people are criminals trying to steal money from old people. I don't feel bad for wasting some of their day. Nate said, so long, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now until we meet again.
I missed
Goodbye, Nate.
Kellen L in the chat said, let's get these guys to a fourth crisis party up here. I agree. I just thought I'd share that with you guys.
Retweet.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kellen.
If I could retweet a live chat, I would, but I can't.
Pin it. How about that?
I lost it. It's already-
Pin his chat.
Aww.
Tacty Platty said, did Mary call me gay? Yikes, my wife will be sad. Oh, well, you should tell your wife that you think she's a crying fleshlight. Potatoes for Seamus said, Anne's Franks, let's go? Brett, probably.
Yes. That would
They
be
will
me.
never let you live this down.
It's a great idea for a business.
Carnell said, I don't have an issue with people proclaiming that offline is the new luxury. However, I think the idea of raw dogging is just telling people that you're intentionally being antisocial.
I don't think it's about being antisocial. I think it's about proving mental superiority.
Well, both of the options are antisocial. You're either watching a movie or not watching a movie. None of these involve social
I was
interaction.
gonna say, nobody talks on flights anymore anyways. Like,
yeah. Because it's like, you don't know if the other person wants to talk. So you don't like just assume. If someone tries to talk to me, I'll definitely talk to them.
I have conversations like if
It's like the memes about like when my Uber driver doesn't say a word and that it's hitting the 5-star button really hard.
Yep. Okay, so DC&C said Morgonn is a Swiftie. Thoughts on F the patriarchy?
You guys should
We're gonna start this.
We're gonna start this.
We're gonna
in
do
the
it.
second hour. Okay, so I did respond to Mary's tweet, and I did not respond after that. Here's my thing. I understand the notion of F the patriarchy is not something we want to be teaching the next generation. Like, I am with that, and I do think it's like a bad message. But in the context of the song and in the lyric, it is actually about a keychain that said F the patriarchy. And there's also multiple other like Swiftie moments in her concert where there's like call and repeat things. There's different chants. There's like a whole moment for like a standing ovation and you're chanting out the different song lyrics, and it wasn't even Taylor that encouraged the F the patriarchy chant. It really wasn't. It became a thing in the Swifties, and I will say this, I have never said it at her concert. I've been to the Eras Tour twice, and each time I stay completely silent during that part.
Okay, to say she's not encouraging it, I think is dubious, because I mean, when she gets to that part of the line, she pumps her hands up so everyone knows that they're supposed to scream those 3 words, not the line. And I don't know, did you see my like response video to Tim?
No, I didn't see her, because I know Tim.
company corporate drama.
Okay, I started a beef with Tim over it, but I included this clip from the Taylor Swift concert that I think a lot of people didn't see, where you can hear up close what they're saying. When that lyric comes up,
it's definitely
they
louder.
aren't singing the rest of the line. They're only screaming F the patriarchy.
I mean, I will
That's
say,
the only part that they're screaming.
Being there, you're singing every song. Like, yes, there are special moments. They're all yelling F the patriarchy, but I think it's been entirely blown up to this thing because, like, I said this, like, the song came out 3 years ago. I think it was 3 years ago, the All Too Well 10-minute version, and it's like, what, like, tossing the car keys, but just like leaving that out. I don't know. I think it was kind of.
Yeah, like
There's a 20.
We got a $20 super
quick.
chat real quick. Potatoes for Seamus said, crisis party, dance party, get Serge back on PCC with Kellen to debate on what to make Brett do for episode 650. 650? That's not a milestone episode. Does that count?
If you guys want to make it a milestone episode,
You know what?
we can do that.
750 because it's like 75.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna have to get Serge and Kellen to agree to that because we can't just count on them to be here at the same time in the same place. They've got a lot going on.
There's another 20.
Evan Gallis said Taylor Swift is the most corporate artist I can think of. I'd rather listen to Rage Against the Machine. That's ironic, considering the current state of Rage Against the Machine. But
the current state of Rage Against the Machine was always the current state of Rage Against the Machine. It's just that the world has changed.
Yeah, that they have not changed with it. Yeah. I mean, okay, so people acted like I didn't know the context, which is crazy because it's like, if you're a 23-year-old woman, you know
the songs.
what the songs mean, even if you're not a fan, because like I do this for a living. Like I have to know these things. I knew that it was about Jake Gyllenhaal. I knew that she re-recorded the 10-minute version. I knew that there are tons of special like moments in the Eras tour. That Brett is just like on another planet right now.
You know, I'm practicing. I'm raw dogging this podcast.
But look, I'm just saying, it was pretty clear to me at least that the context and the story of the song was completely irrelevant to the people screaming F the patriarchy in that particular moment. Because they're screaming it for the very reason that it says F the patriarchy. That was my point.
That is fair. That is, okay, I will
because
give you that is fair. Because 90% of the people there, yes, are actually, I would say 70. I know a lot of conservative Swifties that like hate Taylor for her politics, like, you know, don't love that line, but like will still like listen to her music, go to her concerts. But I'll give you that there's a lot of feminists and they definitely are saying F the patriarchy line with that connotation.
Thank you.
I'll give you it.
So I think we just settled it.
I think we settled the debate. As long as like people recognize that, you know, the song is actually about Jake Gyllenhaal's keychain that said F the Patriot. It's kind of like ironic because Jake Gyllenhaal has the keychain that says F
Does he actually, or is that just made up?
No, I think
like that's real.
Does. Yeah, he does. It's like the red scarf thing too. It's like it's
crazy.
Part of the lore. It's a part of the Swiftie lore. But
I'll believe it when I see the keychain. But yeah, he's kind of nuts.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we settled the beef. It's okay.
Yeah.
I just like Taylor Swift. Mary doesn't.
Who is Taylor Swift again?
She's this like up and coming indie artist. Like
the Chiefs actually discovered her.
Yeah.
Oh,
you probably haven't heard of her. Kellen said r/shower thoughts has been a thing for ages. Well, I've heard of that, but I don't know why it was brought up. Serenko Productions said Megyn Kelly surprised me with her
voice acting.
Oh, voice acting ability in Mr. Burcham.
I thought most of them sounded fine, I guess.
They were like coached through it.
Yeah, it was fine.
John Barrett said Kellen, Bobellin, Banana, Fana, Fofelin, Fee-Fi. Why is this becoming a thing?
How do you not finish it with Fee-Fi, Fofelin? It was like, I guess it was a $2 super chat, so it might have run out of characters. But seriously, Fofelin.
Stefan Buttle said, Anaconda malt liquor. Y'all should try some.
I'm good.
Are you drinking while super chatting? You're responsible. Shane H. Wilder said, I had a car insurance scammer once. I tried to get them to insure a bicycle. Still have no idea why they hung up. How am I going to insure my bike now? Yeah.
R.I.P.
I don't feel a single ounce of sympathy for those people.
Was it you that I was talking to somebody who works here, like that actually has an extended car warranty? Like they actually have it and they used it?
I don't know. It definitely wasn't me.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody and they actually used it and it worked.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Have you seen those videos of the scammer getting scammed, but it's like a hidden camera situation? And it's like, hey, Mary.
The guy who like live streams and stuff?
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen tons of those. He's really good.
Those are good.
He will keep them on the line for hours.
Yeah. And they're like in India or something.
Exactly. Always. Kellen said Tim Cool versus Mary Morgonn this Sunday. Sunday.
The Rizzler. The winner is the true Rizzler of Timcast.
Exactly. I get to become CEO if I win the debate. Potatoes for Seamus said, okay. I don't know if I want to even be clipped saying this. Brett, how about you say it? You say it. If you don't want to say it, don't say it.
Oh, there's a $20 there anyways.
Oh, good distraction. I see all said I sent a super chat to Melanie Mack yesterday on her live stream asking her about you guys wanting her on your show. She said she will check her inbox. You guys should send her another email while it's fresh on her mind. Okay.
Okay.
I sent her an email ages ago. She probably won't see it. I will make sure I do that. But are you going to read that one? Or
Raw Dog and Frank's Hot Dogs.
Okay, cool. Happy Tuesday. DCNC said, Morgan, so does Tim win or does Mary win?
See, in my opinion, I would say Tim because I agree with what Tim was saying.
But you agree with what we both
But I
said.
think we can come to the agreement like... see, this is really tough.
We're turning into a bunch of relativists here. There's no objective reality in this outcome. I guess you're both right.
Like, feminists are going to be feminists.
Look, I just think that a lot of people...
I think it just got blown out of the water. I will say, after you tweeted it, I think way too many people in conservative media picked it up and started tweeting, Taylor Swift is saying F the patriarchy at her concert. I'm like, yeah, she's been doing this since night one of her concert and for 3 years.
Like, I was the first one who tweeted that video.
You were. And I give you that. But that's what I mean. It's like since your tweet, it made this snowball effect.
They're clout chasing.
Everyone was trying to talk about Taylor Swift, but it's like
conversely, like some people were kind of clout chasing off of being like, I'm the one with the real, like, I know the history. And it's like, okay, but like the history doesn't matter and neither does my tweet. And none of this matters.
In your context saying like, well, it's the Swifties and the feminists that are saying that line because of what it says. Yes, but I don't think it is like this almost psychological grooming of Taylor Swift is going to turn everybody into a feminist by saying this line.
Yeah, like her song, The Man, is like way worse than
I hate that song.
Anything else in her discography.
Same with like You Need to Calm Down, like
that one too.
It was just the Lover era. I mean, people thought
that was her flop era.
That was her flop, and like the Gaylor lore, you know, like that was a thing. But if you listen to like Tortured Poets, you're like, okay, this is like not a thing.
Yeah. Well, I think we have actually settled it though.
Yeah.
DCNC said faux felon.
Thank you.
Kellen, faux felon. Corey Anderson said the underwear question was a shower thought.
Oh.
Okay. Congrats, I guess. Potatoes for Seamus said Mary Morgan cat fight.
There you go.
Cat fight with Tim.
Okay.
I
Maybe
think
I'll ask him on our.
Okay, we are all caught up.
We are all
ladies and
caught up on
gentlemen.
Super Chats.
Before we go, would you guys hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already? Please and thank you. And Morgan, thank you.
Thank you guys.
Let everybody know where they can find you on social media.
If you can spell my name, you can find me, Morgonn on Instagram and on Twitter, X. You just add an M to the end of that, Morgonn. And on YouTube, same thing, just my name.
I was, the whole time, I was like, don't say Morgon. Don't say Morgon.
You were chanting it for weeks.
I was like, Morgan.
And every time you did that, I was like, Morgon. Morgon. Okay, guys, you can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived.
There's one more super chat here from Potatoes for Shame. It says, Brett, calm down.
You need to calm down.
Brett, shut the fuck up.
That was rude.
You're talking too much, Brett.
That is true. All right, guys, before we go, again, if you want to follow me, Instagram and Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. This show is here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify if you would prefer to listen rather than watch this show. And if you want to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook and not TikTok because we were banned, at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Guys, we will be back with another episode on Monday. We will see you then.
Bye. Bye.